Chapter 455, The Battle of the Ages, 1. The weakening of the underworld was not a given since ancient times. In ancient times, the underworld forces could sweep the entire world around. Even the emperors were unable to manage the underworld back then, and could do nothing but leave them alone. On top of that, some emperors were sect masters of ancestral sections. One can imagine how glorious the underworld was back then. However, the entire underworld forces were significantly weakened with the disappearance of the 9 cauldrons and the rising diabolism. 9 cauldrons were used to secure the luck for the entire nation. One of the greatest uses for them was to gather spiritual qi. The so-called spiritual qi was also known as spiritual strength. The 9 cauldrons could gather spiritual energy, and filled the land of China, which proved to be much more effective for cultivators. However, the spiritual energy disappeared in the land of China after 9 cauldrons went missing. With this, diabolism emerged. The cultivation of diabolism relied mainly on bloodline, and spiritual energy was just supplementary. This resulted in a much faster progression in their cultivations for diabolism cultivators than the usual martial artists. The art of cultivation in diabolism was based on bloodline. They were eccentric people who massacred martial artists of the underworld to enhance their own strength. This, in turn, sparked a bloodbath in the underworld with never-ending massacres for decades. 50 years ago, Nia Wushuang from Donghua sacred sect emerged and gathered a group of sacred sects to besiege diabolism. As invincible as Nia Wushuang was, he defeated several sect leaders of diabolism, forcing them into seclusion, after which they dared not make themselves known again. Since then, peace had been restored in the underworld. But, the strength of the underworld dropped by 3 to 4 times due to the countless casualties after going through the war with diabolism. Back then, the number of inborn experts in the underworld was not more than 100 people. As the forces in the underworld were weakened, those foreign forces who had been eyeing the immense resources and ancient legacies of the underworld came to plunder. The underworld had received yet another major blow for more than 10 years. For the last 50 years, only 20 to 30% of the strength was restored in the underworld. As such, it was still weak. With the rise of diabolism again, another bloody storm could be looming over the underworld once again. The country should be able to impose sanctions on them if diabolism is going out for innocent killings like they used to. The situation is not as serious as I imagined, but conflicts will increase. Wang Xian pondered to himself when he read the messages on the underworld. The era had changed. With modern technology, even inborn experts could not withstand the bombings. Only when one advanced beyond the inborn level could they survive under the bombings. However, Dan realm experts had to avoid those strategic weapons too. Not to mention those destructive weapons like nuclear bombs which would cause even Dan realm experts to be blown to ashes. With the government in control, diabolism would not dare to go around killing the innocent. However, it was inevitable for a bloodbath to occur in the underworld. Diabolism? I don't care if they are members of diabolism or not as long as they don't provoke me. Wang Xian scrolled through his phone without any concerns. However, the underworld erupted because of the rise of diabolism. The older generations knew more about it, while the younger generations knew nuts. Refining corpses and blood aura sounds very impressive. The thought of controlling dozens of zombies for combat seemed awesome. I heard about diabolism from my grandfather. They are gruesome. After they kill you, they will extract your blood essence or turn you into a corpse. You will not rest in peace even after you die. Even Donghua sacred sect had released this message on the underworld. They must be compelling. The old forces of diabolism can even take over the entire underworld. If not for the leadership of Nia Wushuang of Donghua sacred sect, the underworld wilds still be dominated by diabolism. The underworld has been chaotic recently with the rising of diabolism, emerging Dragon King, and the battle between Dragon sect, Medical Saint sect, and Xiao clan. The entire underworld is in an upheaval. Anyone want to meet up in a group and watch the Battle of the Ages in 2 days? Let's go to Rivertown. The battle is between the sacred sects. However, the Dragon King has already mentioned he will be receiving the arrival of Medical Saint Sect and Xiao Clan. The rest of the forces would be best off avoiding it. Otherwise, they might get killed by mistake. That's right. We should stay a distance away and wait for the news on the outcome. Forget about going over. Otherwise, they will mistake us as people from the opposite party. We can wait for news in Rivertown tomorrow. Wait for what news? The Dragon Sect will be annihilated. Even if we cannot witness the Battle of the Ages with our own eyes the day after tomorrow, we must wait for the first-hand outcome. Let's head to Rivertown tomorrow. Everyone was focused on the battle. Even the rise of diabolism was not any more impressive than the current battle of the sacred sects. Besides, this battle would not end with the fall of one or the other. The day before the Dragon Sect pilgrimage. As the dominant and longest-running ancestral sect, the valley at Medical Saint Sect was surrounded by a wide variety of plants. Some of the plants were looking gorgeous, blooming large flowers. Some of them gave off a faint scent. From afar, the valley seemed like an outdoor fairyland amid the mist. It was extremely difficult for outsiders to enter the valley. Even inborn experts could end up dead in the invisible defense around the valley. At this time, a group of Medical Saint Sect disciples stood in the middle of the valley. There were more than 5,000 people, including disciples from 2 families in the Medical Saint Sect. Among which, about 500 of them were standing over there. These 500 people were the core strength of the Medical Saint Sect. 2 white-haired old men in the lead were sitting on the top, with one wearing green, with 2 emerald arms. Another one wore a Taoist robe with 8 trigrams on it with purple sparks on his palms. 2 of them sat there while the 2 sect masters and the rest of the disciples stood below. Everyone get ready to annihilate the Dragon Sect tomorrow. The old man in the Taoist robe sounded flat when he announced this to the 500 Medical Saint Sect disciples. His tone sounded gentle as if he was making some usual announcements. It seems like Medical Saint Sect has not entered a battle for 50 years. We have been staying too low. It's time we went out and have fresh air, said another old man plainly. To them, it seemed like a piece of cake to annihilate the Dragon Sect tomorrow. Yes, Supreme Elder. The group of disciples bowed and answered below the stage. They did not have much fighting spirit or excitement. With 2 Supreme Elders around, annihilating a new sacred sect was not a big deal. Amongst 500 people, there were 40 inborn experts. The rest were either level 8 or 9 martial artists or half-step to inborn. This was how formidable the Medical Saint Sect was. With a vast amount of resources and the daunting arts of refining elixir pills, no forces could imagine waging a battle against them. Not to mention they were joining hands with Xiao Clan to annihilate this sacred sect. Chapter 456, The Battle of the Ages, 2. They are just a small dragon sect after all, led by an arrogant kid who thinks he can act as such with just 50 inborn level disciples. Tomorrow, we will crush them easily together with the Medical Saint Sect. At this very moment, within Xiao Clan in Nanjing, a crude and bad-tempered old man sat in the middle. Before him, there were 700 to 800 people. Among which, several inborn experts with terrifying auras stood in 2 lines to his left and right. All of them had cold expressions. Laozu, that brat from Dragon Sect, has 50 inborn experts. Moreover, all of them are very young. He probably obtained some incredible treasures. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to rise up so rapidly. Before him, an old man in yellow uniform commented solemnly. He wasn't wearing the outfit of the Qiao clan. Moreover, most of the people here weren't wearing the outfit of the Qiao clan. Instead, they were from other families. The old man that spoke was from the Wu family. As for the others, they were from the other 6 families. The Qiao clan had gathered the other 7 first-class forces. In the field, there was a total of 50 inborn experts. Although they weren't releasing their aura, ordinary people would still feel suffocated in their presence. A 20-year-old brat possesses such insane strength and influence. If one says he did not have any mysterious encounter, no one would believe. Regardless, we will know tomorrow. Lao Tzu revealed a faint smirk and continued, they must be courting death to kill the disciples of my Qiao clan and challenge two saint-class forces at the same time. That's right. That Dragon King is too full of himself. With the Qiao clan and the supreme elders from the medical saint sect tomorrow, annihilating a dragon sect will be a walk in the park. Below the stage, the sect leaders from various sects chuckled. Initially, the sudden appearance of the sacred sect, Dragon Sect, had made them feel hopeless. They had offended a sacred clan. Moreover, it was a terrifying existence with 50 inborn experts. If the Dragon Sect wanted to take revenge on these first-class forces, it would be a simple task. However, that brazen Dragon King announced he wanted to kill all of them, including the Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan. He even added that on the day of the pilgrimage, he would be awaiting their arrival. Absolute arrogance. Looking at the Lao Tzu and the powerful disciples of the Qiao clan, they were relieved and excited. There were already 50 inborn experts gathered here. Moreover, they had existences that were above the inborn realm. Although the 50 of them might not be a match for the 50 inborn experts from the Dragon Sect, they still had Medical Saint sect with them. The Qiao clan had clearly contacted the Medical Saint sect, but they had no idea of the exact strength of the Medical Saint sect. Nonetheless, they were certain that the Medical Saint sect would be stronger than the Qiao clan. With their 50 inborn experts together with 30 to 40 inborn experts from the Medical Saint sect, the Dragon sect would still be slaughtered even if they had hidden their full strength. Furthermore, they clearly had more experts that were above the inborn realm. The Dragon sect must be annihilated and the Dragon King must die. Everyone was feeling extremely confident. Today, countless martial artists from the underworld headed towards Rivertown. They came to the beach enthusiastically and looked at the island a long distance away. There. The Dragon King will be holding his pilgrimage on that island. It's too far. We can only wait for the outcome here. It will only begin tomorrow. We have to come early the next day. There are some people who have started a thread on the Underworld Forum. The Wu family and the other 7 forces have gone to the Qiao clan. The Battle of the Ages is about to start. Some martial artists were discussing. More and more martial artists arrived at Rivertown. Almost everyone in the underworld had their attention focused on this place. Focus on the pilgrimage of the Dragon sect. Is everything in order? Wang Xian arrived at the floating island and asked Mo Qinglong with a smile. It shouldn't be a problem to hold 5,000 people, answered Mo Qingling with a smile. Wang Xian saw the decorations of the floating island. It was prepared for 2 days later. As for welcoming the Medical Saint sect, Qiao clan, and the other forces, it would be on the other island beside it. That would be their burial site. 2 ordinary inborn experts wouldn't be a match for a single Dragonian. Moreover, he had Xiao Yu, Elder Fang, Sun Lingxiu, and the girls with him. The crux was Lan Qingyue. Wang Xian smiled to himself and wasn't worried about the huge battle that would be happening the next day. Even if they had even stronger experts, he would still be around. The Dragon King of the Dragon sect. Standing on the training field built on the floating island, Wang Xian looked to the boundless sea. From him, an aura of invincibility was emitted. This aura was even above the Dan realm. Rivertown was a place with frequent rain. The next morning, the sky was overcast. At about 8 in the morning, ominous clouds had gathered and rain seemed imminent. However, crowds of martial artists had been gathered at the beach of Rivertown since early in the morning. Are the Medical Saint sect, Qiao clan, and the other forces here? I don't know. However, since the Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan have made their statements, they will definitely be here today. This is too darned exhilarating. Life and death battle of the sacred sects. The loser will probably be erased from the underworld. News from Nanjing yesterday reported that the 20-odd inborn experts from the 7 forces have gone to the Chao clan. Wu family and the other forces have mobilized all they could gather. The Wu family and the other forces can't be passive in this. If they can't annihilate the dragon sect today, they will be annihilated in the future. The 7 forces are mobilizing 20-odd inborn experts. Together with those from the Chao clan and Medical Saint sect, won't the number of inborn experts reach 70 or even 80? The strength of the dragon sect is too far from the strength of Medical Saint sect and Chao clan. They are here. Those are the people from the Chao clan. They are here. At this juncture, a light drizzle started to fall. A group of people was approaching the island with a vengeance. They had 800 or so people. A crude and rowdy old man was leading the group, and he was wearing the outfit of the Chao clan. From him, one could feel his imposing will without him getting angry. Behind the old man, all the experts from the Chao clan were following, and they had faint smiles on their faces. The Wu family and the other forces stood to the left and right of the Chao clan. A strong aura swept forward. Even though they had not released their aura, the terrifying demeanor still shocked those who had gathered at the beach as they quickly moved aside and opened up a lane. SSS. That's Chao Longchuan from the Chao clan, a half-step to Dan Realm expert. If he's standing behind the old man, that old man must be the Laozu of the Chao clan. Indeed. Even the Laozu of the Chao clan is here. The vibes from this group of people are too terrifying. Even when I'm several thousand meters away from them, I can still feel a faint pressure. The weakest among them are level 8 martial artists. In fact, almost everyone at the front is an inborn expert. About 50 inborn experts. This. Just considering the strength of Chao clan and the other 7 forces, they have already gathered 50 inborn experts. That's the same as the strength of the dragon sect. The crowd looked at Chao clan and the other 7 forces in shock. Just the Chao clan and the other 7 forces had gathered 50 inborn experts. Moreover, they were led by the Laozu of the Chao clan. If they considered the even stronger Medical Saint sect, wouldn't it be? The Dragon King of the Dragon sect is too arrogant. The Dragon sect will definitely be annihilated this time. A meteoric rise will eventually end in a gruesome way because of his arrogance. Chapter 457, The Battle of the Ages, 3. Splash. Fine rain sprinkled down. The group of Chao clan came to the seaside and stood there while the surroundings plunged into silence. Everyone watched them with horror in their eyes. Too strong, a young man remarked with awe and dodgy eyes. Have the people from Medical Saint sect arrived yet? A formidable elder from Chao clan looked around and asked in a deep voice. They're here. The old man looked behind him. In green and red uniforms, the group of Medical Saint sect experts was flitting in their direction. 2 elders were traveling in the sky. The way they traveled was not comparable to any of those inborn experts who could only flit in the air temporarily. They were hovering in the air for real, just like birds gliding in the air. On top of that, their speed in the air was not any slower than on land. In the realm above inborn realm, Dan realm experts could fly in the sky. This was another important hallmark of Dan realm experts. What? 2 Dan realm experts. They are the supreme elders of Medical Saint sect, from Hua family and Laozu from Bian family. SSS, the real unparalleled experts, unparalleled experts. The Laozu of Chao clan is also from the same realm. There are 3 unparalleled experts. The crowd watched the supreme elders of Medical Saint sect in the air with disbelief. Some of the elders within Chao clan looked over with appalling looks and flickering eyes. The Medical Saint sect lives up to their name. They have 2 unparalleled experts who are simply compelling. Medical Saint sect also brought 40 inborn experts here. That's great. Now that they have 90 inborn experts, it will be a breeze to annihilate Dragon sect. We might not even have many losses. 3 unparalleled experts. Even though the Dragon King is also an unparalleled expert, he will perish under the joint attack of 3 equivalent-leveled experts. The people from 7 forces, including Wu family, had thrills flushing in their eyes. With so many experts around, what was there to be afraid of? Old Hua, Old Bien, since we're all here, let's go. Laozu of Qiao clan was not surprised by the 2 unparalleled experts of medical saint sect. The 2 strong families, Huas and Biens, had been 2 sacred clans since a long time ago. The 2 families had too many casualties such that they joined hands to establish the medical saint sect. Hence, it was not surprising to have 2 unparalleled experts in medical saint sect. Let's go. We'll eliminate that brazen brat today. Medical saint sect has not struck for the past 50 years. Today, we're out for some fresh air. An old man revealed a faint smile on his face. Ha, let's go. We shall see what is backing this insolent brat. Ha! Laozu of Qiao clan chortled and ascended to the air, exuding terrifying might. Let's go. I'll let the people in the underworld know today that no one lives after killing the disciples of Medical Saint Sect, the old man from Medical Saint Sect exclaimed softly. Though it was soft, the voice traveled to miles away. The 3 unparalleled experts took to the air and flitted towards the island in the sea. The disciples of Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan, and the remaining 7 forces left and were on the heels of them. But, they set their foot on the surface of the water and flitted ahead at a rapid speed. They are simply compelling. Is this the strength of 2 sacred sects? With close to hundreds of inborn experts, who else can't they annihilate? The Dragon Sect and Dragon King are finished this time since there are so many inborn experts from Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan. Not to mention the 3 unparalleled experts. The crowd at the beach watched as horror filled their faces. That arrogant brat, get out, and accept your doom. Just then, they heard an indignant, mighty bellow coming from a far distance. I think we can check on the bodies of the Dragon Sect later on. There's no doubt about it. 3 unparalleled experts that can overturn anything. Let's quickly place our bets on the Underworld Forum. Given the combined strength of Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan, annihilating a Dragon Sect is just a piece of cake, the crowd exclaimed loudly at the seaside. Meanwhile, news about the Battle of Sacred Sects in Rivertown was updated on the Underworld Forum. 3 unparalleled experts are leading over 90 inborn experts to annihilate Sacred Sect. Dragon King of Dragon Sect cannot be brazen anymore. How dare he proclaim he'll be able to annihilate Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan. They can forget about a pilgrimage since they will soon be finished. Many people were gloating over the misfortune on the Underworld Forum as they watched. Countless people from the Underworld were extremely jealous of a 20-year-old young man establishing the Dragon Sect. Seeing that the Dragon Sect and Dragon King were about to be annihilated, many people clapped their hands in celebration. Dare you to be insolent? Unfortunately, we're unable to watch what is going on inside. It's a battle of the unparalleled experts. A young man sighed as he looked out to the sea. Let's go. Don't make any moves unless necessary. Just then, the crowd at the beach witnessed a score of people flitting towards the island in the sea. All of them were slightly stunned as they revealed shocking looks on their faces. All of them are inborn experts. Look at their clothes. They are Sacred Clan, Sacred Clan. What? Which Sacred Clan? What are they doing by heading out to the island now? Sui Clan of Shangjing. Those are from the Sui Clan. Gosh, they went over. Could the Sui Clan be on the same side as Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan? No, if that's the case, they should have left together with the Medical Saint Sect. Could it be? What's the situation now? Is another sacred clan involved? All of them were slightly stunned when they saw a score of inborn experts flitting towards the island. Everyone was petrified. Another sacred clan is involved, and they could be here to assist the Dragon Sect. If they were here to assist Dragon Sect, the stakes are getting higher for this battle. 4 Saint class forces involved, that's too scary. Everyone was shocked. Here comes another mighty force. At this time, another exclamation came from the side while all turned around immediately. An old man, followed by a juvenile alongside him. That juvenile looked very young, with a long sword in his hand. A group of people was trailing behind them. How dare someone try to kill my master? Tired of living. Just then, the juvenile at the front let out a cold bellow. With a swift movement, he flitted to the island in the sea, while the old man beside him was hovering in the air. The various experts on their heels gave off domineering oppression. This. All the people were shocked by what they saw, especially when they noticed the huge word, Shao, on their clothing. Their eyes were wide. Shao clan, Shangjing. Another sacred clan. This is the 5th Saint class forces. Gosh, is this going to be the battle of the century? The juvenile at the forefront is Shao Ran. He's the youngest inborn expert now. The mighty, young clan leader of Shao clan. Chapter 458, The Battle of the Ages, 4. What did Shao Ran mean when he said they must be courting death to want to kill his master? There are 5 Saint class forces. 5 Saint class forces are heading to that island right now. That's the strength of about 1/5 of the underworld. This is insane. Shao Ran's master definitely isn't from the medical saint sect or the Qiao clan. If he had said that, could it be? That old man must be the Laozu of the Shao clan. Oh gosh. Another unparalleled expert has appeared. I wonder if the Laozu of Sui clan is around. The appearance of Sui clan and Shao clan in quick succession had shocked the spectating crowd. It was especially so for the clan leader of the Shao clan to make the statement that they must be courting death to kill his master. As a result, many people had an idea in mind. The Dragon King of the Dragon sect was the master of Shao Ran. This wasn't a baseless conjecture but one of reasoning and probabilities. First, the Dragon King had reached a higher realm than the inborn realm at just the age of 20. Second, the sister of the Dragon King had reached inborn level and even defeated the young lord of Sea Serpent Island before the age of 20. Third, there were many young experts in the Dragon sect. Combining all 3 reasons, all the young inborn experts seemed to be related to the Dragon King. In that case, the reason why Shao Ran from the Shao clan could reach the inborn realm might very well be because of the Dragon King. If he was the disciple of the Dragon King, one could also foresee the relationship between the Dragon sect and the Shao clan. As for the Sui clan, no one really knew the reason. Nonetheless, they must be here to aid the Dragon King. 2 sacred clans had come to reinforce them. Gulp. 2 sacred clans are here to aid the Dragon sect. It's hard to tell now who will emerge victorious. Medical Saint sect, Qiao clan and 7 other forces against the Dragon sect, Shao clan and the Sui clan. That's a battle of the ages. In that case, it's still hard to tell who will be annihilated. At the beach, the spectating crowd looked towards the faraway island with conflicting emotions. With 5 Saint class forces gathered there, that was almost equivalent to 1/5 of the strength of the entire underworld. The battle of the ages would be beginning soon. The appearance of the Sui clan and the Shao clan had caused an incomparably huge ruckus in the underworld. At this very moment, on the island above the sea, the supreme elders of the medical saint sect and the Laozu of the Qiao clan hovered in the air. The disciples of the medical saint sect, Qiao clan, and the experts from the 7 other forces stood below them and were staring ahead with smiles. Before them, Wang Xian sat in a chair with a faint smile. Xiao Yu, Elder Fang, Lan Qingyue, Guan Shuqing, Sun Lingxiu, and the others stood by his side. The 50 Dragonians stood behind him and stared at the group of people with intense killing intent. That's the Dragon King of the Dragon sect. In the air, the Laozu of Qiao clan looked down on Wang Xian and asked coldly. Qiao clan. Medical saint sect. He. Wang Xian stood up and looked towards the 3 Dan realm experts in the air. His lips curved into a smile as he asked, "Is everyone here now? I admire your fearless bravery." An old man from the medical saint sect descended to the ground gradually and looked across Wang Xian's group before continuing. 50 inborn experts. Not too shabby. You are incredible to establish this powerful sect at just the age of 20. However, what a shame. Flippant and insolent, ignorant and dauntless. Those who do not know fear are those who are dead. I'll burn you to ashes. As the supreme elder of the medical saint sect spoke, purplish flames started emitting from his body. Hee. A floating island. It seems like you have inherited the legacy of the ancestral sect. It's no surprise that you have risen so rapidly. Another supreme elder of the medical saint sect looked around him and eventually focused on the island a short distance away. He squinted his eyes and excitement flashed in them. A floating island was something that existed in the legends. It was extremely rare. Huh? The Laozu of Qiao clan looked over and greed beamed in his eyes. He turned to Wang Xian and said, "You have enjoyed a meteoric rise but you will fall as rapidly. I'll definitely annihilate you and your dragon sect after you offended the Qiao clan and killed the disciple of our Qiao clan." Kill! All the disciples of the Qiao clan shouted and released their stifling aura. The experts from the other 7 forces also shrouded their aura forward. The terrifying aura and intense killing intent from the 50 inborn experts even caused the rain to stop falling. All your 50 inborn disciples and you are responsible for the death of my son and the disciples of our medical saint sect. Today, all of you will die. I'm not going to let your dragon sect have a day of peace. Kill! The sect leader of the medical saint sect glowered at Wang Xian. It is impossible for us to live under the same sky after you killed my son. Kill! All the experts and disciples of the medical saint sect shouted loudly. The aura of the experts shrouded towards Wang Xian. The air above the entire island solidified. It was as though there was a separate space. As rain fell on it, it dripped down towards the end. Ha! There's no way you can go against us with just 50 inborn experts. Today will be the day you die. The family head of the Wu family pulled out his long sword with a hideous expression and stared harshly at Wang Xian. With just a meager 50 inborn experts, you dare to announce you are going to annihilate us. A half-step to Dan realm old man from the Qiao clan shouted, "Leave no one alive. Everyone, any feud can be resolved." At this moment, a voice resounded from behind them. Everyone was taken aback and immediately turned around. 20 people flew over. The one leading the group was an old man in the Sui clan outfit. The oldest son of Sui Huang, a half-step to Dan realm expert. The 20 experts from Sui clan arrived and headed towards Wang Xian to the astonishment of the Qiao clan and medical saint sect. They took a glance at Guan Shuqing and gave a friendly smile before turning to Wang Xian. "Dragon King, my father has asked us to come over." "Kiki," the old man chuckled and summarized simply. "Huh?" Wang Xian was surprised. He had not expected Sui Huang to send 20 inborn experts from the Sui clan over. For them to come here under such circumstances, it was equivalent to announcing to the world they were with the dragon sect. A standoff between sacred sects like this was scarce. A part of the reason is because of Shuqing. Nonetheless, this old man is pretty good. Wang Xian chuckled, "When everything ends, I'll head over personally to thank Sui Huang." The old man smiled and turned to face the supreme elders of the medical saint sect and the Laozu of Qiao clan. He bowed slightly and said, "Seniors, there's no feud that can't be resolved. Why do we have to resort to violence?" Sui clan. The 2 supreme elders of the medical saint sect and the Laozu of the Qiao clan frowned. They glowered at them and replied, "This has nothing to do with your Sui clan. Could it be that you want to be involved in this conflict? I'm here on my father's order and I'm really sorry about what happened." However, I feel that we could still sit down and talk about it. TSK. Sit down and talk about it? He dared to kill the disciples of our medical saint sect. We have to take revenge for them. The dragon sect must be annihilated today. If the Sui clan would like to be involved in this mess, don't blame me when things turn ugly. The sect leader of the medical saint sect stared at the group from the Sui clan and continued, your Laozu isn't here. With just you guys here, we just have more to kill. The group from the Sui clan frowned and looked bitter. In that case, we have no option but to offend you. 70 inborn experts. Great. We just have to kill 70 inborn experts, exclaimed the Laozu of Qiao clan coldly. What if you count our Xiao clan in? Chapter 459, The Battle of the Ages, 5. What if you count our Xiao clan in? A kiddie voice came from behind, followed by an immense aura shrouding over medical saint sect and Qiao clan. There was no slightest attempt to conceal their strong fighting spirit and killing intent. Xiao Ran swept his cold gaze across everyone before him as he ran towards Wang Xian. Master. Wang Xian looked at Xiao Ran with a smile and a nod before he turned to Xiao Quanshan. Xiao clan will only strike once for such a lineup. The baldy Xiao Quanshan grinned as he was slightly relieved upon seeing the people from Sui clan. It was not his idea to take part in this battle of the sacred sects. After all, this was a saint-class battle. If something went wrong, the entire sacred clan would suffer a huge loss. Too bad he had promised Xiao Ran, that little fellow, that he had the right to mobilize the enforcement elder team in the clan. If he allowed Xiao Ran to bring the dozen-odd elders here, that was as good as seeking death. Hence, he simply brought all the people from Xiao clan here. Uncle Xiao. When the eldest son of Sui Huang spotted the arrival of Xiao clan, his eyes were filled with pleasant surprise. Hurriedly, he greeted him. Where's Sui Huang, that old fellow? Asked Xiao Quanshan. My father is abroad and couldn't make it back, the old man replied. Xiao Quanshan, don't tell me the Xiao clan is intervening too. Laozu of Qiao clan spoke in a cold voice as he stared at Xiao Quanshan with a darkened expression. So what if we do? Damn, can't you see we're already here? Xiao Quanshan fired his rage at Laozu of Qiao clan. He looked at the two supreme elders of medical saint sect with wariness. Think this over carefully. If a battle were to break out today, it's a losing end for both parties. 90-odd inborn experts are going to perish over here. Think about it. Xiao clan, are you making an enemy with the medical saint sect? The supreme elder stared daggers at Xiao Quanshan with a frozen face. I'm not scared. Xiao Quanshan widened his mouth. If it's between Xiao clan and medical saint sect, I may have my concerns. But now, I have Sui clan and dragon sect on the same side. Why should I fear you all? Well. Xiao clan and Sui clan, it looks like you all are going up against the medical saint sect. The supreme elder of medical saint sect was looking menacing. The appearance of Sui clan and Xiao clan had completely disrupted their plans. None of them had expected that the dragon sect could invite two sacred clans for assistance. No wonder you dare to be insolent, killing the future successor of our medical saint sect master and bragging to us. Radiance flickered in the eyes of the supreme elder of medical saint sect as he stared at the gang before him. Combining three sacred sects, dragon sect, Xiao clan, and Sui clan, would make more than 90 inborn experts on their side. With one Dan realm expert, Xiao Quanshan, and the possibility of the Dragon King to be a Dan realm expert being 80%. They had greater repression with 3 against 2 Dan realm experts. However, the battle between inborn experts would be a close margin even if they won. Apparently, Laozu of Qiao clan realized this as his expression slowly grimaced. Things had gone far beyond their expectations. With the appearance of Xiao clan and Sui clan, they leveled their overpowering strength. None of them would have thought that the young clan leader of Xiao clan, aka the current youngest inborn expert, would be the disciple of the Dragon King. If a battle were to break out, Xiao clan would receive a huge blow. Towards the end, those surviving inborn experts might not number more than 5. 3 unparalleled experts had a dramatic change in their expressions. They did not dare to act recklessly as the price was too huge to pay. The 2 sect masters of Medical Saint sect were so infuriated that their bodies trembled. Their enemy was right before their eyes, yet they could not strike under such circumstances. They were clear that the damage of Medical Saint sect was beyond imagination once they made their moves. They may not lose their sacred status, but a massive loss was guaranteed without a doubt. How is this possible? The experts from the 7 forces, including Wu family, had terror in their eyes. Shao clan and Sui clan had come to support the Dragon sect. The legendary clan leader of Shao clan was the disciple of Dragon King. Even if they could rough it out today, they would only be left with high numbers of casualties. If they did not start the fight today, how could they resist the Dragon sect when they seek revenge in the future? Unlike Medical Saint sect or Qiao clan, they were just first-class forces that could not afford to have a sacred sect seeking them out to take revenge. In particular, from such a powerful dragon sect. A touch of despair surged in their hearts. Given such a situation now, when a fight was unlikely to break out, they could only dismiss clans, ancestral sects, and run. This was the only way. Dragon King of Dragon sect, will mark this grudge since we have plenty of time ahead, said the 2 supreme elders of Medical Saint sect coldly as they glowered at Wang Xian with icy eyes. Without Shao clan and Sui clan, the Dragon sect would be annihilated today. Laozu of Qiao clan stared daggers at Wang Xian. Oh. Wang Xian looked at them with interest. His face was full of a teasing look. Let's go. The supreme elders of Medical Saint sect cast a murderous gaze at Wang Xian before they told the disciples behind them this with a twisted expression. Let's go, said Laozu of Qiao clan with a wry look. Phew. All the disciples heaved a sigh of relief. It would only be a bloodbath today if they really engaged in a battle today. No one could guarantee their survival. Hee hee. Sensing their departing intention, Wang Xian sneered as he lifted his chin slightly. Did I allow you all to go? Her. Did I allow you all to go? All of them were stunned. The supreme elders of Medical Saint sect, Laozu of Qiao clan, and the rest of the disciples frowned as they turned around with cold faces. Even the people from Sui clan and Shao clan knit their eyebrows together. Shao Quanshan fixed his eyes on Wang Xian with his eyebrows locked. They are not weaker than us in terms of strength. In fact, they might be even stronger than us. Old Shao, and people from Sui clan, the Dragon sect is very grateful that all of you turned up today. We'll repay the help you rendered to us today in the future. Wang Xian beamed at them. However, since Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan are present today, they don't have to leave anymore. You all can just stay by the side and look. Wang Xian spoke flatly as the Dragonians beside him walked forward. Wang Xian spun around as he fixed his cold eyes on the Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan. Killing intent flashed in his eyes. Since the disciples of Medical Saint sect dared to ambush me, so what if I kill your disciples? If you're here to annihilate me, then I can only exterminate the Medical Saint sect in return. As for Qiao clan, this was your end the moment you accepted the killing order of the Medical Saint sect. Since you have come all the way here, then none of you shall leave today. Ha! He chuckled as he said, 3 Dan realm experts with 90 inborn experts. Today, all of you will wage a battle with the Dragon sect. This place will be a grave for all of you. Wang Xian's dominance swept across all of them as a bout of murderous aura loomed over the entire island. Chapter 460, Annihilating Sacred Sects, 1. Everyone was stunned and looked in shock and fear at Wang Xian. Shao Quanshan, members of the Shao clan and Sui clan were taken by surprise as they looked towards the disciples of the Dragon Sect. Clearly, it was impossible for Dragon Sect to go against the Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan, and the other forces. Although Dragon Sect had 50 inborn experts that were stronger than the Medical Saint Sect, the coalition of the other parties had 90 inborn experts. Moreover, they had 3 unparalleled experts who had all reached the Dan realm. Without exaggerating, a Dan realm expert could deal with 30 to 40 inborn experts alone if he wasn't occupied by another Dan realm expert. That's the strength and terrifying thing about a Dan realm expert. With 3 Dan realm experts as opponents, how was he going to withstand them? What kind of strength would the Dragon Sect need to have to withstand their attacks? Alright. The supreme elders of the Medical Saint Sect and the Laozu of Qiao clan stared harshly at Wang Xian. You want to keep us here? In that case, we just have to kill all of you. Arrogant brat. Kill him. Frenzied killing intent beamed from the eyes of the 3 unparalleled experts. To keep them forever here and bury them on the island, the only way was to kill them. Kill. Today, our Medical Saint Sect will shred you into 1,000,000 pieces. The 2 sect leaders of the Medical Saint Sect growled hideously and instructed their disciples. Kill him and annihilate them. Fires of fury were smoldering in the eyes of the experts from the remaining 7 forces. As long as the Sui clan and Shao clan didn't get involved, they had nothing to fear. They were 100% certain that they would roll over the Dragon Sect. Kill. Qiao clan and the other 7 forces also struck. The immense battle will and killing intent from 90 inborn experts instantly ripped apart the clouds. The ominous clouds in the skies were split in the middle by the terrifying aura, and the entire island was shrouded in stifling pressure. The fight is really breaking out. Oh my god. Although we are 7 to 8,000 meters away, we can still feel the stifling aura from that island. That's close to 200 inborn experts. Now that they are clashing, it will be catastrophic. This is too frightening. I really did not expect the fight to break out with both parties having relatively equal strength. I wonder how many will be dead at the end of this battle. At the beach, several thousand martial artists awaited the outcome. The terrifying and stifling pressure from the island made everyone shiver. That's the pressure from over 100 inborn experts and several unparalleled experts. Everyone was fearful. If any level 8 or 9 martial artists were to approach the area, they would probably be suffocated by the stifling pressure. The terrifying aura and the killing intent over the island shocked everyone. Kill. On the island, Wang Xian looked towards the 1,000-odd people from Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan, and the 7 other forces. Ruthlessness gleamed in his eyes as he shouted loudly. Kill. Devilish aura shot into the sky from the crowd of Dragonians. The aura from 50 Dragonians gathered together and a devilish dragon could be vaguely seen circling in the sky. Sisin-La Qingyu, enchant us. Let my master and I go teach those 2 old fools a lesson. Xiao Yu looked to Lan Qingyue and was eager to give it a go. All right. Lan Qingyue smiled and nodded her head. As she waved her arm, a stream of grayish mist gathered around Xiao Yu and Elder Fang. When the stream of grayish mist entered into the body of Xiao Yu and Elder Fang, their aura exploded exponentially in an instant. A black and grayish aura circled around them and horrifying energy was leaking out of their bodies. Deathly, violent, dark. So strong. Elder Fang was shocked to feel the strength flowing in her body. Her current self could totally match herself in the skeletal dragon form. Let the 3 of us finish those 3 old fools. Lan Qingyue said with a smile as her body slowly levitated towards the sky. All right. Xiao Yu nodded her head in excitement. Ka. Behind each of their bodies, 2 skeletal wings extended out. As Xiao Yu and Elder Fang wiggled their wings, they flew towards the supreme elders from the Medical Saint Sect and Laozu of Qiao clan together with Lan Qingyue. What? When the crowd from Sui clan and Xiao clan saw Xiao Yu and the other two girls charging towards the three unparalleled experts, they were both shocked and surprised. The energies they are emitting from their bodies are terrifying. Xiao Quanshan stared fervently at Xiao Yu, Lan Qingyue, and Elder Fang. It was especially so for Lan Qingyue. From her, he felt an aura that sent a chill down his spine. The grayish energy was terrifying. That girl has reached the Dan realm. Xiao Quanshan's eyes were filled with disbelief. His eyes widened and stared blankly at Lan Qingyue. The legacy of the ancient god Kun breeder is really insane. Looking at Lan Qingyue, Wang Xian was shocked. This was the first time Lan Qingyue fought. The greatest strength of the ancient god Kun breeder wasn't in her battling capacity. Instead, it was in her ability to breed Kun and supporting others. The ancient god Kun breeder could substantially increase the strength of her Kun. She could also release strong enchantments to strengthen the rest. Just like how it was currently, Xiao Yu, Elder Fang and Lan Qingyue were connected by a grayish stream of energy in the sky. Xiao Yu and Elder Fang's strength was increased to the level of their skeletal dragon form directly, and they could go against Dan realm experts. As for Lan Qingyue, who could increase the strength of others, her true battling strength wasn't something that ordinary Dan realm experts could withstand. Three little brats are challenging us. The supreme elders of Medical Saint Sect and Laozu of Qiao clan felt insulted as they saw the three girls charging towards them. However, they were shocked and in disbelief when they felt the heart-wrenching aura from them. You must be courting death. Killing intent flashed in the minds of the supreme elders of the Medical Saint Sect and Laozu of Qiao clan. A supreme elder of Medical Saint Sect waved both of his jade-green arms and dropped seeds onto the ground. Ka ka ka. As his arms glowed in a jade-green light, the seeds that had fallen onto the ground grew at a frantic speed to the astonishment of everyone. In an instant, several brambles grew to the size of over a few tens of meters tall. These trees resembled tree demons as they waved their branches, which were rough and full of thorns. As for the other supreme elder from the Medical Saint Sect, purplish flames emitted from his body and raged to over 10 meters tall. Dang dang dang. A space filled with metal attribute energy appeared around the Laozu from Qiao clan. Razor-sharp and invisible blades made of metal energy circled a radius of 10 meters around him at all times. Any creature that entered this space would be instantly killed. That was the terrifying thing about Dan realm experts. They could coalesce energy around their bodies, shape them and release attacks that covered the entire region. Every action was just like a superpower. Compliments of the light. Rage and roar. At this moment, Sun Lingxiu and Guan Shuqing shouted from the ground. Rays of light covered all 50 Dragonians. The light did not disperse the darkness. On the contrary, the light was protecting the darkness. Chapter 461, Annihilating Sacred Sects, 2. At this moment, a flaming fowl appeared above Guan Shuqing's head. The flaming fowl was about 5 meters in size, exuding a boiling temperature. Boom boom. Every flap of the blazing wings fired flaming feathers at Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan. Each of the flames was dark red, and the temperature was terrifyingly high as they were almost comparable to the heavenly flame. Yet, the flaming feathers on the flaming fowl were shrouding crazily over the place ahead. Boom boom. At this time, 50 Dragonians, and the experts from Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan, and 7 forces went head-on together instantly. The Dragonians were like emotionless killing machines. The scary demonic aura exuded sent chills to everyone as soon as they engaged. Go to hell. The 5 half-step to Dan realm experts from Qiao clan and Medical Saint Sect charged at the Dragonians with murderous intent on their faces. Boom. The weeds on the ground were growing madly as they attempted to entangle Dragonians, bursting flames at Dragonians. With the sharp energy at the peak, they wielded at Dragonians. This was the combat of experts, which was different from those battles with cold weapons in ancient times. A battle which involved a mere 1,000-odd people seemed like a war for 1,000,000 people. The offense was so powerful that it was unbelievable. Ka ka ka. What? That's a strong defense of light. As Medical Saint Sect and Chao clan charged at the Dragonians for the first head-on collision, they were being interrupted instantly by bright defense energy with a glimmer of embarrassment in their eyes. Roar! Go to hell! The beast-like bellow came from the Dragonians as they struck forward with their half-meter, scary dragon claws. Arg, arg! Before the Dragonians could even make their attacks, there were moaning and despairing shrieks from behind. All the experts from Medical Saint Sect and Chao clan were stunned. Some of them craned their necks when they saw the tails of the dense flaming feathers enveloping the people at the back like some missiles. The experts present today were not only the inborn experts but also thousands of inborn and below. Yet, those experts who were below inborn level could not resist the daunting flaming feathers a bit. The dense and terrifying flaming feathers pierced through the martial artists easily. What a domineering flaming feather! How can an inborn expert have enough energy to fire hundreds of flaming feathers in one go? Some of the experts cast their attention ahead with an incredulous look in their eyes. Light, shield on! Just then, everyone heard a soft yell again. Some of them spotted a beautiful and holy goddess spitting out an illuminating pearl from her mouth behind them. The illuminating pearl suspended itself in the air as beams of light shrouded the disciples of Dragon Sect. That strong light defense could only be penetrated by a full blow from an inborn expert. As someone who had inherited the light divine dragon's legacy, Sun Lingxiu had the supreme class origin source constitution. Her talent was not any weaker than a divine dragon. Given that she had advanced to half-step to Dan realm, it was a breeze for her to display a variety of her light energy. On top of that, the defense she released was empowered by the illuminating pearl, such that even inborn experts had to strike with their full power. And that was the case when her defense was thinly spread across a vast area. If she were only shielding one person, even half-step to Dan realm expert would find it hard to bring it down. Arg! Another devastating cry was heard from one of the inborn experts of Chao clan as the terrifying dragon claws of Mo Yuan pierced through the body of an inborn expert. As soon as the battle began, the first inborn expert was killed. Arg! Soon after, another 2 inborn experts let out shrieks. All of them were coming from Medical Saint Sect and Chao clan. Kill that girl and shoot that illuminating pearl in the air down, a half-step to Dan realm expert cried out with slight changes in his expression when he heard the screams. Kill her. We've got almost doubled the inborn experts, another inborn expert bellowed. About 5 inborn experts made a swift move and slashed the illuminating pearl in the air. Aurora. Sun Lingxiu remained unwavering as her hand flicked. The illuminating pearl gave off beams of light that were like endless aurora lights that pierced through 5 inborn experts. Arg, arg. As aurora passed through, another 5 screams were heard. Upon hearing the screams, all the people from Medical Saint Sect and Chao clan could not control the sudden tremor in their hearts. In less than a minute, 8 inborn experts had been killed. Yet, no one from the Dragon Sect had died. The daunting light defense and the mighty physical defense of those people from the Dragon Sect struck fear into the rest. Their individual strength differed by too much. Qiao Longchuan, you pin that girl down while I take down that illuminating pearl, a half-step to Dan realm expert shouted with a twisted expression. Got it. Slash them. With a furious roar, an old man whose hand was holding onto a sword hundreds of meters away slashed at Sun Lingxiu. Boom boom. 100-meter-long crack ran up the island by the sword radiance condensed from the metal as it was wielded at Sun Lingxiu. Bam! Wang Xian swung his arm and shattered the 3-meter metal blade shadows. Buzz! Wang Xian opened the golden ivory fan in his hand. As soon as he closed it again with a single hand, the metal fan darted out to that half-step to Dan realm expert of Chao clan. The metal fan was giving off a radiant glow that was dazzling. What? As soon as Qiao Longchuan of Qiao clan noticed that fan, his expression had a massive change. The sword was giving off a searing golden glow as he wielded it at the golden fan. Ka ka ka. Arg! The sword was broken, and the man was dead. With a shriek, the first half-step to Dan Realm expert perished. He's dead. The half-step to Dan Realm expert perished. That Dragon King is too compelling. Besides, the disciples of Medical Saint Sect and Qiao clan watched with traces of fear in their eyes. Generally, half-step to Dan Realm experts only existed in sacred sects. Every one of them was domineering. They were the supreme rulers in the underworld if none of the Laosis of the various clans and forces were around. Yet, one had died in this battle of the sacred sects. Moreover, he was easily killed by the Dragon King of the Dragon Sect. This Dragon King must be at Dan Realm. However, such a Dan Realm expert had only stood there, watching in silence. On top of that, 3 ladies had already pinned down their Laozu and Supreme Elders altogether 1,000 meters above the sea. In the air, the deity-like Laozu was completely contained. Those under-inborn existences at the back were fleeing in panic under the frenzied attack of that flaming fowl. Nobody dared to look for the girls who were releasing light and flame, as there stood the Dragon King of the Dragon Sect. That half-step to Dan Realm from just now had marked the consequences for attacking the girls. A tinge of fear surged in the hearts of all the people from Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan, and the 7 forces. Chapter 462, Annihilating Sacred Sects, 3. How can this be? They are too strong and frightening. At this very moment, the group from the Sui clan looked on in horror at the battles developing before their eyes from the side. In just a few minutes, 8 inborn experts had died from the Medical Saint Sect, Qiao clan, and the other 7 forces. There was even one half-step to Dan Realm expert that had perished. What was most shocking were the performances of the few girls. In the sky, 3 incredibly young girls were going against the supreme elders of the Medical Saint Sect and the Laozu from the Qiao clan. Their terrifying strength enabled them to go toe-to-toe with the Dan Realm unparalleled experts. It was especially so for the girl in the middle. The faint grayish energy was completely overwhelming the supreme elder from the Hua family of Medical Saint Sect. His brambles were withering rapidly within the grayish energy. Even one of his jade-green arms was withering gradually within the grayish energy. Incomparably frightening. After which, it would be the disciple of their Laozu. This 20-year-old little girl was standing there with a firebird circling above her head. Wave after wave of terrifying flaming feathers was shot towards the enemies. She did not stop at all for a few minutes. Every flaming feather was like a terrifying bomb. Before her, a 7 to 8 meter hole appeared on the island. Those that were injured or killed by the flaming feathers numbered several hundreds of people. Those who hadn't reached the inborn realm couldn't withstand the flaming feathers at all. Little junior sister seems to have endless fire attribute energy. She hasn't stopped at all while constantly releasing highly explosive attacks. Moreover, she doesn't look fatigued at all. It's no surprise that our father wanted to take her in as a disciple. She's frightening. Yeah. She's really incredible. Under sufficient protection, her destructive powers could even match 10 inborn experts. It's no surprise that Grandpa wanted her as a disciple. She's insane and too demon-like. It's not just little junior sister who seems like a demon. All the girls around the Dragon King are exceptionally powerful. 3 of them are even going toe-to-toe against 3 Dan Realm experts. The crowd from the Sui clan was astonished. I can now understand why he asked our Shao clan and Sui clan to stay away. With such incredible strength, only Donghua Sacred Sect could match them. The crowd from the Shao clan and their Laozu were stunned and in awe of the battle. They looked at Guan Shuqing, Lan Qingyue and the girls before turning to their young clan leader. Only the Dragon King could raise such terrifying existences. It's our young clan leader's greatest blessing to meet the Dragon King. Incredible. Xiao Quanshan, who had been standing by the side, was in awe. He looked to the three girls in the air and his eyes were flickering. Who are the three girls fighting with the supreme elders of the Medical Saint sect and the Laozu of Qiao clan? That's what a battle between immortals would look like. The battle between unparalleled experts could split the sky and destroy the earth. The battle is 1,000 meters above the sea. That giant tree swaying, flashes of golden rays, purplish flames torching the skies and devilish auras shooting through the skies are what one should expect for the battles between unparalleled experts. At the beach, the crowd of martial artists looked up at the 6 black dots in the sky. Battle of the Ages. That's what a battle of the ages should resemble. They could hear every homing attack and explosion clearly. What the hell is that grayish energy? At this moment, the Supreme Elder from the Hua family of Medical Saint sect stared at Lan Qingyue with one of his arms trembling. One of his jade-green arms had withered and lost all signs of life. As for the other arm, it was also exceptionally dull. The brambles that spanned over several tens of meters and were hovering in the sky were supported by his powerful strength. However, the brambles had lost all signs of life. It was over 10 times harder to control than usual. Bam! 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 A short distance away, purplish flames and devilish aura clashed. As the Supreme Elder from the Medical Saint sect swung his arm, the purplish flames within 100-meter radius swept towards Xiaoyu. At this moment, Xiaoyu was on the defensive. Her wings were behind her and she was releasing devilish aura towards the purple flames. On the other end, Elder Fang was surrounded in the space filled with metal energy. Countless invisible blades made of metal energy flew and attacked her. As the invisible metal blades grazed by her, they left faint marks on her armor. What a terrifying defense. The toughness of their black armor is too strong. When the Laozu from Qiao clan slashed down with his long sword on the wings of Elder Fang, he could only knock her back 100 meters, but could not break through her defense. This made him incomparably bitter. However, other than the Supreme Elder from the Hua family of Medical Saint sect, the other two had the upper hand. Arg! At this juncture, endless pitiful cries reverberated from below. The three of them looked down and anger instantly fumed in their eyes. The elite disciples of the Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan had over 90% of their strength all gathered there. And now, there were several hundred corpses below them. Incessant pitiful cries came from the disciples of their sacred clan and sacred sect. They saw the Dragon King of the Dragon sect swinging his golden fan towards the half-step to Dan realm experts. After a few wretched cries, all the half-step to Dan realm experts were killed. After the few elite experts were killed, Mo Qinglong led the Dragonians and killed over 10 inborn experts in an instant. In the air, the Supreme Elders of the Medical Saint sect and the Laozu of Qiao clan shivered in anger. Anger and sorrows filled their faces. Dragon sect, you will perish here. A Supreme Elder from the Medical Saint sect roared furiously. Purplish flames welled up from all parts of his body and swarmed towards Xiaoyu. This is bad. Xiaoyu was caught by surprise and could only fly higher into the sky. Huh. However, Xiaoyu was astonished to find that his target wasn't her. The Supreme Elder of the Medical Saint sect descended from the sky like a meteor towards the Dragonians. It's your Medical Saint sect that will perish. A dull gold light glowed in Wang Xian's eyes as he saw the Supreme Elder from the Medical Saint sect getting ready to attack and kill the Dragonians. Today, this will be the burial site for the Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan. No one is getting away. As he spoke, he moved and charged towards the Dan realm expert covered in purplish flames. Little crook. Even if I have to sacrifice this old life of mine, I'll annihilate all of you. A purplish light beamed from the eyes of the Supreme Elder from Medical Saint sect and his eyes turned red. Hee hee. You are thinking too highly of yourself. Wang Xian moved and appeared before him instantly as a ray of dull gold light. Die! A golden dragon claw appeared and ripped towards the Supreme Elder from the Medical Saint sect. Thinking of killing me? The Supreme Elder of the Medical Saint sect condensed the purplish flames around him together. The temperature was so high that the flames appeared black. The dull purplish flames turned into a beast and pounced towards Wang Xian. Roar! The cry of a wild beast reverberated. The next moment, the golden dragon claw held the beast by the neck and ripped it apart. Without a loss in momentum, Wang Xian continued his charge towards the Supreme Elder of the Medical Saint sect. Boom! The golden dragon claw penetrated and split the body into two. An unparalleled expert had fallen. Chapter 463, Pilgrimage, 1. Splatters. The drizzle had since turned into a downpour and was kept out of the imposing island. At this moment, however, heavy rain began to pour on the island. The island was dead silent. All of the experts from Medical Saint sect, Xiao clan, and the seven forces halted their actions. They were horrified as they gazed ahead. Nobody had expected such a situation in just a brief moment of the frightening collision at that location. The pouring rain showered them with chills. No, no. How is this possible? How can it be? Disbelief and fearful voices resounded in the air, cutting the moment of silence. The sect master of Medical Saint sect widened his eyes as he could not trust his eyes when he spotted the corpse on the floor. That was the Laozu of Bian family. He was also an unparalleled expert, one of the pillars of Medical Saint sect. However, he was instantly killed in that moment of collision. A Dan realm expert and an unparalleled expert were lying motionless on the floor. The blow seemed to have brought them into hell. An unparalleled expert was struck down with one stroke. He's the unparalleled expert. How can this be happening? Even the Supreme Elder of Medical Saint sect was killed. The people from seven forces revealed desperate looks in their eyes. They spun and looked around when they saw their clan disciples and comrades were already down by half. Yet, there was not even a single death for the dragon sect, only 5 wounded ones who had been taken out of the battlefield for treatment. Thrashing. An utter thrashing. In particular in the battle of unparalleled experts. The 3 girls from the dragon sect were able to withstand the attacks of the 2 supreme elders of Medical Saint sect and the Laozu of Qiao clan. Now, the Dragon King of the Dragon sect killed another unparalleled expert with one blow again. A strike, a kill. And an unparalleled expert had fallen. Kill. Wang Xian let out a soft bellow with a frozen face when he looked at the Supreme Elder of Medical Saint sect, who was being torn apart. Kill. Mo Qinglong let out a yell and rushed to Medical Saint sect and Xiao clan for a kill. The demonic aura mixing with the fresh blood of enemies had turned the island into a living hell. No. We surrender. No, no. As soon as the people from the 7 forces witnessed the death of the unparalleled experts, they began to break down. Even the unparalleled expert of Medical Saint sect was killed. How far could they run? It was absolutely wishful thinking. Given the current strength of the Dragon sect, Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan were utterly finished. Even they brought unparalleled experts here, they were fated to stay on that island. Why is the Dragon sect so formidable? Yet, surrendering and despairing only sped up their deaths. Within seconds, another inborn expert was struck down. After losing the half-step to Dan realm expert, there were no experts from Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan who could fight with Mo Qinglong and the rest. The one-sided massacre had begun. No. Old Bien. Another supreme elder of Medical Saint sect's shrill roar cut through the air. Wang Xian craned his neck with a cold expression as he looked at the supreme elder of Medical Saint sect and Laozu of Qiao clan. I told you this place would be the burial ground of Medical Saint sect. From today onwards, there will be no more Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan. Wang Xian made a move and appeared in the air. Xiao Yu, Elder Fang, Lan Qingyue, and finally, Wang Xian surrounded Laozu of Qiao clan and Supreme Elder of Medical Saint sect in the center. When you decided to turn up, didn't you think of such consequences? Asked Wang Xian with a beaming smile as he stared at him coldly. Our Medical Saint sect has been established for more than 300 years. Little did we expect it would be destroyed in our hands. The Supreme Elder of Medical Saint sect trembled as malevolence surfaced on his face. But, Dragon King, don't be insolent. Someone will avenge us. Someone. Ha, the time will come soon for the dragon sect to be wiped out. Hysterics filled his voice as he chortled. A tinge of fear surged within the eyes of Laozu of Qiao clan as he scanned for his chance to flee. Wipe the dragon sect out. I'll wipe the Medical Saint sect out first. Coldness flashed in Wang Xian's eyes as he made a move instantaneously. Xiao Yu, Elder Fang, and Lan Qingyue followed suit. There was no chance to flee even for the unparalleled experts in the face of the absolute thrashing strength. Death shrouded them in a brief moment. Be it air or land, the battle of sacred sects had arrived at the final stage. Endless screams resounded. The desperate cries left the island reeking of blood. Disciples of Medical Saint sect perished one by one, and so it was with the disciples of Qiao clan. The experts of 7 forces had already collapsed onto the floor a long time ago. Slowly, the screams on the island could not be heard. Bam! When the 2 figures in the air plunged onto the island, it marked the end of the battle of the sacred sects. Medical Saint sect annihilated. Qiao clan annihilated. The 2 Saint-class forces were gone from the underworld. The crowd from Sui clan and Shao clan were dumbfounded by what they had seen. Then they swept their gazes across all the people from the dragon sect. The almost invincible Dragon King, an insane group of girls, and the terrifying disciples of the dragon sect. Gulp. They swallowed their saliva with cold sweat breaking out on their foreheads. Given their current dominating power, the dragon sect could annihilate them like a piece of cake, let alone Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan. Damn, only when old Sui and I combined forces could we manage to fight him with his current strength. Xiao Quanshan stared at Wang Xian with a somber expression. By bringing down the Supreme Elder of Medical Saint sect in a move, Wang Xian had struck a massive impact on him. That was the unparalleled expert who he killed in a single blow. He knew that only one person could achieve that in the past, the invincible fellow, Nia Wushuang of Donghua Sacred Sect. Now, a young, 20-year-old fellow did the same thing too. He was extremely envious and shocked. Announce to the underworld to come for pilgrimage tomorrow, said Wang Xian to Mo Qinglong as he scanned the bodies on the floor. Yes. Mo Qinglong looked at the bodies and revealed a smile. Old Xiao and the rest from Sui clan, thank you for coming over here. Now that we have resolved our matters, we need to settle some of our issues. If all of you aren't leaving yet, you can stay at our place to enjoy yourself for a few days. Wang Xian looked at Xiao Quanshan and the rest of the people from Sui clan with a beaming face. Ha, it's impossible to leave at this time. Tomorrow will be the day of the pilgrimage. We will be here to support you. I don't think you'd mind, would you? Xiao Quanshan grinned as he spoke to Wang Xian. Sure, you're most welcome. Wang Xian smiled and nodded his head. Great, see you tomorrow. Let's go. Xiao Quanshan waved his dismissal as he made a swift move as he left the island. The people from Sui clan cupped their fists at Wang Xian and left subsequently. On the Underworld Forum, the Dragon Sect had released a message. Medical Saint Sect annihilated. Qiao clan annihilated. Chapter 464, Pilgrimage, 2. The people of the Shao clan and Sui clan are here. Has it ended? Has it ended? It should have. Those incessant cries are really giving me goosebumps. Those were the cries of inborn experts. At the beach, The crowd of martial artists stared in shock at the group from Shao clan and Sui clan moving rapidly towards them. A while ago, they had heard wretched cry after cry clearly from the island. They had heard the angry and desperate roar from the skies. And eventually, the cries gradually died down. Those angry and wretched screams from before seemed to be from the supreme elders of the medical saint sect and the people from the Qiao clan. Could it be that these sacred sects have really been annihilated? Sacred sects are annihilated? SSS. The crowd gasped and stared fervently at the approaching people from the Sui clan and Shao clan. 40 to 50 of them got closer and closer. One young man mustered his courage and asked loudly, "Seniors, may I ask about the situation of the island? What's the outcome?" Medical Saint sect, Qiao clan and everyone else were annihilated. Get ready for the pilgrimage tomorrow. An old man glanced at them plainly and replied solemnly. What? Everyone was dumbfounded and their eyes widened in disbelief. However, the people from the Shao clan and Sui clan did not elaborate and left immediately. Medical Saint sect, Qiao clan and the other 7 forces were annihilated. Could it be that the Shao clan and Sui clan participated in the battle previously? However, from their appearances, there's no signs of bloodstain on them. From the moment I saw 2 figures falling to the ground and heard the loud scream, I knew that Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan might be finished. However, I couldn't convince myself. Now that I have heard it with my own ears, it still feels a little impossible. 3 unparalleled experts. We are talking about 3 unparalleled experts. All of them have fallen by the hands of the Dragon sect. How terrifying is the Dragon sect? Everyone, take a look at the Underworld website. There's an account that is most likely belonging to the Dragon sect. They have made an announcement declaring that the Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan have been annihilated. They also told everyone to get ready for the pilgrimage. They were really annihilated. 2 sacred sects have been erased from the underworld. The Dragon sect is insanely strong. In the battle earlier, Sui clan and Shao clan probably fought too. Otherwise, I couldn't believe that the Dragon sect could annihilate 2 sacred sects. At the beach, a crowd of astonished people were discussing fervently. In the underworld, this incident had also stirred a huge ruckus. The annihilation of sacred sects. Moreover, 2 sacred sects were destroyed. This was something that could shake the entire underworld. Before the battle, everyone could see the terrifying strength of the coalition between Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan. Close to 100 inborn experts and 3 unparalleled experts. In the face of this strength, any force would have to kneel. Even if that force was a sacred sect. However, close to 100 inborn experts were all dead now. The Sui clan and Shao clan definitely played a part. Otherwise, with the strength of the Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan, how could the Dragon sect annihilate them so easily? 2 sacred sects against 3. Although it is shocking that they were annihilated, it isn't impossible. 100 inborn experts have been killed. The strength of the underworld has decreased substantially. 2 sacred sects have been erased from the underworld and the Dragon sect has risen. After this incident, the Dragon sect has completely stabilized its footing in the underworld. The annihilation of the Medical Saint sect and Qiao clan was like an earthquake in the underworld. When the other sacred sects and clans heard the news, they also couldn't remain composed for a long time. The death of 3 unparalleled experts. At that time, although the Sui clan and Shao clan were present, Sui Huang wasn't there. In other words, only the Laozu of Shao clan was there. The Dragon sect would at least have 2 Dan realm experts. Based on the information gathered by the people at the beach, it's beyond doubt that the Dragon sect had at least 2 Dan realm experts. Various sacred sects and clans obtained reports from different places. All the higher management of these sects and clans had gathered to discuss the incident. The annihilation of 2 saint-class forces warranted their closest attention. After all, most of the Saint class forces weren't even as strong as the medical Saint sect. They wanted to analyze the strength of the Dragon sect to come out with an action plan. The Dragon sect has risen. Send some gifts over tomorrow. The sacred sect, Dragon sect, has a strength that ranks among the top 3 or 4 sacred sects. Instruct our guys to send some gifts over tomorrow. Don't ever offend the disciples of the Dragon sect in the future. Sui clan, Shao clan and the Dragon sect are definitely on really good terms. Different messages came from various sacred sects. The Dragon sect had dominantly annihilated 2 sacred sects. Although this might be largely because of the aid from the Shao clan and Sui clan, it was still enough to command fear and respect. While the sacred sects were hesitating, they still sent their guys to bring gifts for the pilgrimage. Within the underworld, various families and sects were astonished to see this piece of news. A sacred sect that shot to the peak by stepping on the corpses of a sacred sect, a sacred clan, and 7 first-class forces was sufficient for them to hold in high regard. As a newly crowned sacred sect, the Dragon sect would require them to express goodwill and pay pilgrimage to them. That was despite the fact that many families and ancestral sects didn't have high opinions of Dragon sect in the past. Some even believed that the Dragon sect would be annihilated. Regardless, they had to be respectful towards a fast-rising Dragon sect. All the powerful families and sects in the underworld were mobilized as they prepared gifts and made their way to Rivertown. It wasn't that they would be targeted if they didn't go for the pilgrimage. However, the birth of a Saint-class force and the rise of a powerful sect was worthwhile for them to head over and express goodwill. If their disciples were to offend the sacred sect carelessly in the future, the sacred sect might let them off because of their current decision. The pilgrimage was dependent on the strength of a sacred sect. When the Flame Palace had announced their ascension to be a sacred sect previously, only the sects and families in 3 to 4 provinces headed to the pilgrimage. However, the Flame Palace was a far cry from the current Dragon sect. Dragon sect could make it to the top 5 of all Saint-class forces just from the strength they displayed in the annihilation of Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan. 10,000 sects paying pilgrimage. Wang Xian wasn't aware of the happenings in the underworld. He summoned Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan over and immediately headed to the old nests of the Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan. Since they had annihilated the Medical Saint sect and the Qiao clan, the treasures that belonged to them were naturally theirs for the taking. I should have sent the Dragonians over in advance. Most of the treasures left behind were probably shifted away by others by now. Wang Xian shook his head in disappointment because of his miscalculation. Wah! Brother, there are lots of forces congratulating us on the establishment of the Dragon sect. Among them, there were several Saint-class forces. Xiao Yu was scrolling through her phone in the villa and shouted loudly. However, she soon pouted. Just a day ago, they were still saying we would be annihilated. Ha! There will probably be lots of forces coming tomorrow. Hee hee. At that time, I'll participate as the sect leader of the Thistles and Thorns sect. Xiao Yu remarked loudly. Lan Qingyue, Guan Shuqing and Sun Lingxiu chuckled by her side. They sat there demurely and looked like goddesses. Chapter 465, Pilgrimage, 3. Wow, there are many people. Yes, it's way too much. Look over there. It's Xingling sect. That is the Dark sect. Over there is Imperial Beast sect. Gosh, many sacred sects are here today. At least 5,000 people were heading to that island on the following morning. Those people came from various ancestral sects and clans, in which some were formidable sacred sects and sacred clans. All these dominating forces embarked on a trip to the island on their vessels. All the clans and sects were in awe when they stood on their vessels. As they scanned the surroundings, they had only astonishment on their faces. Too many clans and ancestral sects came from the underworld. On top of that, all of them were formidable ones. Those second tier and below were not qualified to attend. At least more than a score of first-class forces and 6 saint-class forces were present. Over 100 vessels steered towards the island. That's spectacular. Let's go over there too. At the seaside, a group of more than 30 people came on a vessel, following another vessel to the island. Congratulations to Thistles and Thorns sect. Sect leader Tang, congratulations to Thistles and Thorns sect that has upgraded to a first-class sect. I'm so happy for you. Sect leader Tang, I really envy you guys. While they were heading towards the island, the martial artists beside their vessels spotted them. Immediately, they congratulated sect leader Tang with envy. The group of more than 30 people was from Thistles and Thorns sect. It was an honor for them to be here today. Seeing those powerful forces, who he used to look up to, congratulating them fervently with envy, everyone from Thistles and Thorns sect was proud and thrilled. It's just a stroke of luck. I will not be the sect leader of Thistles and Thorns sect anymore in the future. I'm getting old, and it's time to give up my seat. Said sect leader Tang to the surrounding people with a beaming face as he cupped his fists. It's more than just luck. The surrounding forces looked at Thistles and Thorns sect with envy since the sister of the Dragon King was a disciple of Thistles and Thorns sect. She would be taking over the sect leader role in the future. From now on, who would dare to provoke Thistles and Thorns sect with the Dragon King and Dragon sect around? So long as the Dragon sect was around, Thistles and Thorns sect would have nothing to worry about. This was what many of the first-class forces envied. It's right in front of another island. I heard it's a floating island. The legendary floating island, aka an ancient wonderland. The group of forces on the vessel were envious when they saw the beautiful island in spring colors. The floating island was able to travel freely in the ocean. Given such a base camp, it was a treasure that every force yearned. All of them looked over and spotted 4 Dragon sect experts standing at the entrance of the island. Mo Yuan was there to receive them. Compared to the pilgrimage of Flame Palace not long ago, this pilgrimage far exceeds the Flame Palace, said one of the sect leaders of ancestral sects who went for the Flame Palace's pilgrimage with a slight exclaim. Back then, only 4 to 5 first-class forces had attended the pilgrimage of Flame Palace. None of the sacred sects had turned up. Yet, almost 70% of the first-class forces from the underworld would be attending the pilgrimage of Dragon sect this time. Many of the sacred sects and sacred clans were here too. Dragon King, these are the things we got from Medical Saint sect and Xiao clan. Back in the hall of the floating island, the entire island was undergoing construction. Only a few temporary buildings were done. So little. Seeing the items before him, Wang Xian frowned as he shook his head in disappointment. When we arrived at the Medical Saint sect and Xiao clan, they had all the things moved. Even the spiritual grasses in their herb garden were pulled out. They even smashed the things that they were unable to take away, Mo Qinglong replied with bitterness. He cast his sights on the big alchemy furnace in the center and said, "This alchemy furnace is considered to be the most precious thing in the Medical Saint sect." Wang Xian nodded as he observed the 2-meter alchemy furnace. The entire furnace was purple in color, which looked extremely prestigious. Lilac Mist Alchemy Furnace, Level 10. Contains purplish heavenly flame. A Level 10 alchemy furnace can refine Level 10 elixir pills. This alchemy furnace should be one of the most precious treasures in Medical Saint sect. Wang Xian looked at the alchemy furnace with a glimmer of surprise. This trip proved to be worthwhile, given this alchemy furnace. This alchemy furnace was extremely heavy for anyone, even for inborn experts, to carry. Besides, it was durable. Hence, it was left behind by them, said Mo Qinglong. Wang Xian nodded. Set the furnace in a room and make it an elixir refining room. Yes, Dragon King. Mo Qinglong nodded and continued, most of the forces who are here for the pilgrimage have arrived. Let's go over. Wang Xian nodded, revealing a smile at the corner of his lips. As he moved to the site for pilgrimage, Wang Xian already spotted some of the formidable forces waiting on the island. Seeing the arrival of Wang Xian, everyone cast their gaze over with surprise, shock, and admiration. Greetings to the Dragon King. Greetings to the Dragon King. As soon as he arrived, one of them went over to Wang Xian and greeted him respectfully. The remaining people from the rest of the forces greeted Wang Xian with their fists cupped. This greeting was a form of respect to an expert and, at the same time, a form of respect to a sect master who had established a sacred sect. Thank you all for coming. Seeing all the forces standing before him with awe, Wang Xian revealed a smile and said, "At Dragon Sect, we'll not seek anyone's trouble unless someone provokes us. We only have 50 disciples in Dragon Sect, but they follow the same rules when they roam the underworld. As such, I hope we can live in harmony." Wang Xian laughed as he spoke. He swept his gaze across everyone. "However, we will not give up any resources in the underworld. Till then, strength will determine." His words sounded mild and, at the same time, expressed the attitude Dragon Sect would adopt in the future. All the surrounding forces heaved a sigh of relief when they heard this. Before the establishment of the Dragon Sect, the Dragon King was notorious in the underworld for countless killings. They were terrified that the Dragon Sect would act overbearing and barbarous. As for the resources in the underworld, it was a common thing. Competing for the treasures in the underworld based on strength would not invite any complaints. Dragon King is magnanimous. Xingling Sect is willing to get along with Dragon Sect. Several of our seniors here are representing Xingling Sect to deliver some congratulatory gifts to Dragon Sect. An old man from Xingling Sect smiled and cupped his fist to Wang Xian. Subsequently, he beckoned to the back. Making a tribute was, of course, the way to express the friendliness from Xingling Sect. After Xingling Sect, the various sacred sects also sent their gifts. As for those first-class forces, they paid tribute with all kinds of spiritual grasses and treasures. Wang Xian received them with a face full of smiles. This is the true blue pilgrimage. Shao clan and Sui clan were sitting by the side, watching it with beaming faces. Suddenly, the eldest son of Sui Huang, sitting in the middle, had an abrupt change in his expression when he received a message from a disciple. "What? Did you say something happened to your father?" His eyes were wide with panic. "Uncle, Grandpa is seriously injured now. Old Huang of Sacred Followers Guild is now with our clan with severe injuries too." Chapter 466, Sui Huang's Injuries. What? Wang Xian looked surprised by the oldest son of Sui Huang. Sui Huang is severely injured. With Sui Huang's strength, there are few who can severely injure him in the entire underworld. How did Sui Huang get injured? Wang Xian asked with a frown. "I don't know. Father has been overseas over this period. I have no idea as to how he got injured either. Dragon King, our Sui clan will have to leave now," said the oldest son of Sui Huang. Currently, the Sui family didn't have a second unparalleled expert. Sui Huang was the sole pillar of the entire Sui clan. If he were to get into trouble, it would be a destructive blow to the entire Sui clan. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before answering him. "I'll go back with you guys in a while." Thank you, Dragon King." The oldest son of Sui Huang nodded his head. "What? Shao Xian. You are saying my master is severely injured?" After the pilgrimage had been going for about half an hour, Wang Xian brought Guan Shuqing along and followed the rest of the Sui family members back to Shangjing. We are going to take a look." Wang Xian nodded his head. "How could this? Master said he was heading overseas to get me some art of cultivation." "How would he be injured?" said Guan Shuqing, who was clearly anxious. "He will be fine. Don't worry about that. Wang Xian consoled Guan Shuqing and shook his head at her. Sui Huang had been away for some time to look for cultivation arts for Guan Shuqing. He had not expected him to return with severe injuries. Wang Xian and Guan Shuqing followed the members of the Sui family and rushed back to Sui clan on a helicopter. Let's go. We will head back right away. When the experts of Sui clan got off the helicopter, they didn't hesitate at all as they took flight and flew towards the sacred mountain. Their Laozu getting into trouble was a huge matter for them. Great-grandpa. How's father doing now? What really happened? The group of experts from Sui clan asked in a hurry. His injuries are severe. Old Huang is inside and administering treatment to Laozu. He asked us to wait for him here, an old man said bitterly to the group. With master's strength, how would he be injured? How would he be injured? Guan Shuqing asked anxiously. Let me go take a look. Wang Xian took a look around and headed in directly. Dragon King, please. The group from Sui clan didn't attempt to stop him. After all, he had been known as Miracle Dr. Wang by the public previously and he was also an unparalleled expert currently. Wang Xian entered and saw Sui Huang lying on the bed. Both of his arms were gone and he was drenched in blood. At the same time, his body was emitting a creepily high temperature. The clan leader of the Sacred Followers Guild was administering treatment. Beside him, a young girl was helping him out. Seeing Wang Xian walking in, he picked up a jade green bead in his hand and heaved a long sigh. How are the injuries of Sui Huang? Wang Xian took a glance at old Huang before walking to the side of the bed. Huh? Who are you? Didn't we say not to let anyone in now? He will be interrupting the treatment, said the young girl as she turned around and looked at Wang Xian. The young girl was in a white dress and had bright eyes. She looked captivating and didn't seem to be a girl from the mortal world. Old Huang waved his hand at the young girl, turned to Wang Xian and said solemnly, his injuries are severe. Really, really severe. Both of his arms were severed and his internal organs were torched by a heavenly flame. There are also several lethal wounds on his body that are taking a huge toll on Sui Huang. The young girl pouted and looked curiously at Wang Xian. Wang Xian walked to the side of the bed and checked on Sui Huang's injuries. His eyebrows knitted together and he placed a palm on his body. A stream of dense dragon energy entered. There's a fire spark in his body. Feeling the injuries in Sui Huang's body, Wang Xian was astonished. It's an injury that has gone deep into his bones. That black fire spark has attached itself deeply in the body of old Sui. The one who injured him is definitely not an ordinary expert. If it wasn't for old Sui being a fire attribute expert too, he would probably be finished. That black fire spark is a really pressing issue. If I can find the eternal ice water, I will be able to resolve it. Do you have other ways to erase it? Old Huang asked Wang Xian. Yeah. I can treat old Sui's injuries. Wang Xian nodded his head. You can. The young girl looked at Wang Xian and clearly didn't believe him. Even my master couldn't heal him. You can. The most severe injury on Sui Huang is that black heavenly flame. That heavenly flame is too domineering. Old Huang, can you restore the arms of Sui Huang? Wang Xian didn't pay any attention to that young girl as he asked the guild leader of the Sacred Followers Guild. Yeah, I can regrow his arms. The main issue is that black heavenly flame in his body. If you can remove it, old Sui's injuries wouldn't be much of a problem. Old Huang nodded his head. Alright. Wang Xian nodded his head. He could also grow Sui Huang's arms. However, it would exhaust an immense amount of dragon energy. He wasn't surprised that the guild leader of the Sacred Followers Guild could regrow limbs. After all, he was number 1 on the Miracle Doctor's chart in the underworld. Even when compared to the entire world, he was second. His medical technique wouldn't be weak at all. Wang Xian placed his arm on old Sui's body. Water counters fire. Streams of dense water dragon energy entered Sui Huang's body. The owner of the black heavenly flame is really strong. When the water dragon energy reached the side of the black heavenly flame, it was blocked away to the astonishment of Wang Xian. However, Wang Xian wasn't weak either. Dense water dragon energy surrounded the black heavenly flame and slowly extinguished it. After a dozen-odd minutes, the small black heavenly flame in Sui Huang's body was finally erased. Wang Xian heaved a sigh and said, "The black heavenly flame has been removed. As for the other injuries, I believe they will be easy for old Huang." "Yeah." Old Huang nodded his head and took a long glance at Wang Xian. "Miracle Dr. Wang, your medical skills are even more incredible than I imagined." "I'm just average, I guess." Wang Xian smiled plainly. "Medical saint sect isn't as simple as you imagined. Be careful in the future." Old Huang reminded plainly. He retrieved the jade green wood attribute bead and started his treatment of Sui Huang. Wang Xian was taken aback by what old Huang said. However, he simply shook his head nonchalantly. The young girl scrutinized Wang Xian from top to bottom. "I had not expected you to be a miracle doctor too. You are pretty good. I'll get out now. Please let me know when Sui Huang regains consciousness." Wang Xian didn't pay attention to the young girl as he headed for the door. "TSK. Who is he? What's there to be arrogant about?" Seeing Wang Xian ignoring her on multiple occasions, the young girl stared behind her and raised her fist furiously. "Master, who's that stinky brat?" asked the young girl with contempt. "Him. He's an incredible young man and a very arrogant one. Qiao Qiao, don't you ever offend that kid. He's a little dauntless," said old Huang to the young girl with a smile. "TSK. He's just an ignorant brat. What's there to be so arrogant about?" the young girl grumbled. In her place, who dared to ignore her? Chapter 467, Fire God's Graveyard. "How's my master, Xiao Xian?" Guan Shuqing asked in eagerness the very moment Wang Xian stepped out. 100 pairs of eyes of the Sui people in the grand hall were on him as well. "Not to worry, nothing serious, he should be able to come round shortly," Wang Xian replied with a smile. "Phew, thank God for it." "That's great," the Sui people exclaimed in great relief. "That couldn't be better. I'd be riddled with guilt should anything happen to Master because of me," Guan Shuqing added as she heaved a sigh of relief. With a smile, Wang Xian assured her as he patted her on the shoulder. It did not take too long for old Huang and the young girl to make their way out. "How's my father, old Huang?" "Nothing serious, he'll need to rest for a couple of months. He is awake and you may go in now," old Huang told the crowd. "We can't thank you enough, old Huang," expressed everyone, with heartfelt gratitude. "Don't mention it, it would have taken much longer if not for Miracle Dr. Wang. I'll take my leave." Old Huang gestured with a wave before leaving with the young lady. The youthful girl gave Wang Xian a black look as she walked past him. "Humph," she went, as she turned around and left the place. "Let's go in." Wang Xian was least bothered by her, a lass who did not look any older than 18 and seemed to be, undoubtedly, a spoiled teen. "Master." Guan Shuqing rushed to Sui Huang once she stepped into the room. Also in the room were the 4 sons of Sui Huang with the rest remaining in the grand hall, not wanting to disturb. "I'm all right, still alive." With a tinge of paleness across his face, Sui Huang muttered as he waved. He gave Wang Xian a glance and joked, "And I owe you one, Dragon King." "Ha! Which disrespectful soul has beaten you up so badly?" Wang Xian chuckled. "Neither were you respectful." Sui Huang gave Wang Xian a death stare while Guan Shuqing, who was beside them, pinched him. "Ha!" Sui Huang laughed, looking at the duo. He continued as a serious look replaced the smile on his face. It was the nether flame. I was given a hefty hit by one of the nether flame experts. There are many powerful experts beyond our region. Sigh. Nether flame. Why did you end up in a fight when you were supposed to be on an art of cultivation quest? Asked the puzzled Wang Xian. Nether flame was obviously a well-known power within the region which he was oblivious to. Someone has found the fire god's graveyard in Dubai, where fire god's legacy and top-notch fire-attributed art of cultivation exist. It was when I tried entering the graveyard that I met the expert and was gravely injured by him. Sui Huang said bitterly. Fire god's legacy? Who could be such an arrogant soul, to have named himself God? The slightly startled Wang Xian asked in astonishment. A foreign fire-attributed expert. He must have been impressively powerful to be called God. Sui Huang responded. Fire God is just one of the many that exist in the world. We have others like the Thunder God, Water God, Demon God, God of Baki, God of Land and many more. With a beam, Sui Huang continued. In actual fact, these are nothing more than formidable human beings, similar to celestial beings. How could we consider one to be God then? Wang Xian asked out of curiosity. The most powerful in the underworld is said to be the Dan realm, a realm which Nia Wushuang has surpassed. A level above Dan realm would be Budding realm, which then leads to the Immortal realm. This is where one would find immortals of the land, where they are known as deities in the east and gods in the west. Above this level comes the hollow breaking, but whether this realm to be regarded as hollow breaking or across cosmic remains unknown, Sui Huang proclaimed placidly. Budding realm? Immortal realm? Wang Xian asked in slight contemplation. Given his current combat power, which was equivalent to level 8 of the Divine Dragon, it would be said to be comparable to Budding realm. And level 9 of Divine Dragon would correspond to that of the Immortal realm. After level 9, first transformation of Divine Dragon would take place, and that would either be the legendary Hollow Breaking or Across Cosmic, which had yet to be confirmed. You mean one could still find a God outside our country? Dubai is recruiting guards above level 9 martial artists. The 100 million entry fee would be exempted. One is allowed to keep half of the treasures obtained. There are currently 50 people who have joined. Wang Xian walked deeper in and was shocked by an eye-catching sign. Dubai is really smart to recruit guards. Whatever treasures the guards get from the graveyard, they will also receive half of them. Wang Xian chuckled. He realized that there were several forces recruiting guards like these. However, they didn't have the same credit rating as Dubai. As such, they could only promise spiritual stones or money directly. There were even some who were looking for teammates to explore the place together and to help each other out. To sum it up, the place was completely different from what Wang Xian had envisioned. The fire god's graveyard was like a treasured place that required exploration. Wang Xian looked towards the fire spirit volcano curiously. The entrances to the fire god's graveyard have been sealed. If I want to enter, I can only go by the main entrance. In that case, I have to pay 100 million. Wang Xian's eyebrows knitted together. Changing the currency from his country to Dubai's currency, he would have to pay $170 to $180 million. This wasn't a small sum. However, if he could obtain treasures from the fire god's graveyard, this sum would just be peanuts. Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and headed towards a room at the side. Those who wish to enter the fire god's graveyard have to present a token of authority which can be purchased with money. Just as he stepped into the area, a service attendant explained this to Wang Xian. Give me one. Wang Xian said immediately. In the Outstanding Young Heroes competition previously, the Dragon sect had occupied all the spots. As such, all the rewards had gone to him. He received over 90 billion in cash. The only thing Wang Xian wasn't lacking now was cash. Alright. This is for you. We are not responsible for any lost tokens. The service attendant threw a token of authority towards him and spoke plainly. The token of authority was the size of a palm with the words, Fire God's Token, written on it. Wang Xian walked out and flipped the token in his hand. Puff! At this moment, a hand grabbed towards the token of authority. Wang Xian was taken aback. He immediately moved aside and dodged the hand. At the same time, he looked before him. 4 thievish-looking people appeared before him. All of them had small beards and had samurai swords hung around their waist. All of them were staring greedily at the token of authority in Wang Xian's hand. Japanese? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and stared coldly at the 4 of them. Brat, we are just missing a token of authority. Give us the token of authority in your hand. The old man in the middle played with his beard as the other 3 surrounded Wang Xian. Another fight? Just let them fight. The more that die, the merrier. Hee hee. That kid is really dumb to purchase a token of authority alone. Although 100 million isn't much, it's still substantial for a martial artist. It's a common occurrence for the weak to be robbed. This is already the 3rd case today. 3 people were killed in the previous incident. Those 3 are martial artists from Team Luchuan. That's not entirely right. In their countries, they are referred to as ninjas. The kid didn't know the importance of hiding after purchasing a token of authority. It's clear that he's inexperienced. Just count this as a lesson. The surrounding crowd looked on with faint smiles, as they were already familiar with such developments. No one attempted to intervene. In fact, some were even regretting not making a move earlier. Just a few minutes will do. Wang Xian paused as he whirled around and faced the 5 people. This way, please. Seeing Wang Xian look back, that young man quickly pointed to a room. With slight hesitation, Wang Xian looked at the building, which he had bought his token from just now. Apparently, these 5 young people had some backings. Sure. He nodded and followed them. The only reason that they invited him over must have been for the fire god's graveyard. Even Wang Xian had to stay cautious when it came to the fire god's graveyard. After all, to be known as a god in the international arena must have required one to possess a greater strength than him. Wang Xian was slightly far from being a godlike being. The dangers lurking in the fire god's graveyard could inflict him with severe injuries. He followed the 5 people to a room that looked extravagant. Speak up, people, I want to know what you can come up with for me to join you guys, said Wang Xian to them with a smile. Out of the 5 of them, there was a girl who had a veil over her face. Only her beautiful, pink eyes, which looked a little queer, could be seen. We have a general map of the fire god's graveyard. We can provide you with some weapons. All in all, it's much safer to go with us than by yourself. The chance of getting treasures is much higher too. That young man in the center continued to add on. Wang Xian lifted his eyebrow a little as he scanned the 5 of them briefly. Honestly, all of you are somehow weak. All of them halted. There was a twisted expression on the face of that young man. All of us are at inborn levels, and we have powerful weapons with us. 5 of us can manage even a half-step to Dan Realm Expert. With your participation, we have ways to explode our strength to half-step to Dan Realm level. Oh. Since all of you are so compelling, you guys can just kill me after that. I will be doomed if I follow you people, said Wang Xian impassively as he looked at them. Don't worry. We can swear a blood oath, and take some cursed beetles. If we defied our oaths, we would die immediately. What do you think? Asked the young man to Wang Xian, staring at him. Sure, but it's up to individual strength after we enter. Wang Xian chuckled as he answered. Sure. The 5 of them nodded without any comments. Great, when are we setting off? Asked Wang Xian immediately. In the wee hours of tonight. We'll enter at the coldest time, when the fire demon at Fire God's graveyard is deep in sleep, answered the young man. Sure, we'll meet tonight over here. I'll take a stroll nearby. Wang Xian smiled and nodded as he headed outside. Elder brother, this guy is super arrogant. He thinks he's good, but I don't feel he's reliable at all. Let's drop the idea of going there. The girl with a veil pleaded with the young man at the center as soon as Wang Xian departed. He's not weak. Sigh, and we don't have other choices. Inborn experts with water attributes have their own forces. After we lost a Dan Realm expert, we almost wanted to give up. But now, we should give it a shot. If we can find the holy water scripture and holy water, all these things will have been worth it. Brother, I still think we shouldn't go, the girl pleaded. For your sake, I must find the holy water. Chapter 470, Daughter. Dragon King, Prime Minister Turtle and the rest have not been revived yet in the Dragon Palace. Evening. Wang Xian sat by an outdoor restaurant near the beach and was talking to Mo Qinglong over the phone. Wang Xian had sent Mo Qinglong to the Dragon Palace to teach the Golden Swordfish race to read and speak, and at the same time, to check if the rest had been revived. The time required to revive them had exceeded his expectations. With the powers of the Soul Returning Branch and Dragon Transformation Pool, it would still take more time before they could be revived. There aren't any treasures in the Dragon Palace currently. Let's hope that I can get some on this trip to the Fire God's graveyard. Sitting by the restaurant next to the beach, Wang Xian looked towards the clear seawater some distance away. Before him, there were tourists from various countries in sexy bikinis playing by the beach. In the sea, a yacht steered by and left behind a long trail of white waves. Sister Lingling, you are so annoying. I want to go surfing. I want to go surfing. Have you forgotten that you almost drowned the last time you went surfing? You can forget about it. Just sit here, drink your tea obediently, and enjoy the sun. TSK. You. How? Wang Xian glanced over after hearing a conversation coming from his side. It was between 2 girls. One was a loli with 2 ponytails. Her clothes resembled those cosplay costumes and she looked adorable in them. The other girl was wearing a white skirt. Both of them were chatting casually. Wang Xian looked over with eyes of admiration. When he noticed that the loli was staring at him, he felt a little embarrassed and turned around. What's the matter, Xiaowan? You are finally at the age where you are interested in handsome guys, the girl teased Xiaowan after seeing her staring at Wang Xian. Sister Lingling. It's him. Look. It's him. He's that uncle. Suddenly, that loli pointed at Wang Xian and shouted. Huh? The girl by her side looked curiously towards Wang Xian. When Wang Xian heard the shouts of the loli, he also turned his head over. He raised an eyebrow and found them to be rather familiar. He's the one who raced with us. The one that rode a heavy-duty motorcycle. It's him, the loli exclaimed. The girl by the side pondered for a moment, turned her attention towards Wang Xian and was struck by a sudden realization. It's really him. You are that little brat. After the loli kicked up a ruckus, Wang Xian also recalled this little brat. He met her when he had just had the mysterious encounter. After winning a heavy-duty motorcycle from a guy, he encountered 3 sports cars. Those 2 girls were in one of the 3 sports cars. At that time, they raced and crashed into a big truck after they went into the opposite lane. This little brat had both legs broken on the spot and that beautiful girl also suffered a huge blow to her chest. At that time, he had helped to heal them. Who would have expected he would meet them here after half a year? Wang Xian's lips curved up slightly. He looked to the little brat and found her a little more attractive as compared to half a year ago. So my daughter is here. Yeah. How are your injuries? Wang Xian smiled, looked towards the slender legs of the lowly and teased her. He still could recall this little brat asking him to call her mom if he had lost. After the accident, Wang Xian made her call him dad, and this little brat did so while crying. The memories were still fresh in his mind. After all, she was the first daughter he had. You rascal! Seeing how Wang Xian was teasing her, the lowly instantly fumed. She gritted her teeth and stared at him. She could still remember clearly that when she was about to fall unconscious, this guy made her call him daddy. At the thought of this, she couldn't wait to eat him. Xiao Wan, don't be rude. The girl by the side pulled the lowly by her arm and turned to Wang Xian. With a sincere voice, she thanked Wang Xian. I'm really grateful for your treatment last time. We heard it from the doctor. If it wasn't for you, we would have been in trouble. However, I'm really sorry about it. Because of our family matters, we had come to Dubai for treatment and didn't have the opportunity to express our gratitude. We really did not expect to see you here. Wang Xian shook his head with a smile and answered, it's all right. What a coincidence. Yeah, what a coincidence, the girl chuckled. Soon, she continued, I'm Tang Lingling and this little girl here is Mu Xiaowan. She's a little playful. My name is Wang Xian. Please take a seat. Wang Xian gestured for them to sit. Tang Lingling nodded her head, pulled Mu Xiaowan along and sat down. Are you here in Dubai for the holidays? Yeah. What about you guys? Wang Xian nodded his head and asked the girls. Our family has business here, answered Tang Lingling. Do you know how to swim? At this moment, Mu Xiaowan suddenly asked him this. Huh? Of course, I know. Wang Xian looked at the little girl and answered with a smile. Do you know anything about surfing then? Mu Xiaowan's eyes beamed and she continued asking. It is nothing to me. Wang Xian said heartily. Why don't we go surfing? It's so boring staying here. Let's go, handsome uncle. Mu Xiaowan stood up instantly and continued, to thank you for saving us the last time. For the next few days, the great Missy here can bring you around in Dubai. I'll cover your accommodation and meals. What do you think? I'm not interested in surfing today. All I wanted is to sit here and rest. Wang Xian said heartily. This won't do, Mu Xiaowan's jaw dropped. Seeing how Wang Xian was leaning against the chair lazily, she pouted, when would you be interested in going surfing then? We will see again. Wang Xian found her hilarious and chuckled. Mr. Wang, how many days will you be hanging around here? Tang Lingling asked with a smile. I'm not sure yet. It depends. In that case, we can be the host and bring you around Dubai. We have been here for half a year and know this place really well. All right. Let me treat you to a sumptuous meal. However, you have to bring me surfing. Are you okay with it? Seeing people from his home country in a foreign land, Wang Xian chatted for close to 2 hours with the two girls. The little brat constantly begged Wang Xian to bring her to surf. Eventually, Wang Xian gave in and agreed to her request with a smile. At night, the little girl brought him to a seafood restaurant. At 9 p.m., they bade each other farewell. The beaches in Dubai were still well lit at night. It was especially so for the beach near the #1 hotel in the world. Looking at it from afar, it was breathtaking. Wang Xian lay below an umbrella on the beach and waited silently. At midnight, Wang Xian arrived at the seaside punctually. Brother, this is a curse beetle that came from your underworld. After the 6 of us consume it, I believe you will feel more assured. The 5 people from Dubai had been waiting for him. As compared to the day, all 5 of them were now wearing capes and resembled those martial artists in China. All right. Wang Xian didn't ask them about their outfits and the group consumed the curse beetle. Curse beetles originated from the underworld and were still widely used internationally. The promises and constraints between martial artists could be enforced using curse beetles. Those who went against the rules would suffer great consequences. Even inborn experts or even stronger existences had to follow the constraints. Let's go. The 5 of them didn't speak much. They jumped onto a boat by the side and steered it towards the Fire Spirit Island. If we can leave this place, you have to return this to us. This is Aqua Star, aka a hexastar. As the young man spoke, he took out another one as well. All 5 of them had one each. When the 6 of us stand in a hexagon, the water energy will be connected, and we can explode half-step to Dan Realm's strength. On top of that, if any one of us is in danger, this will allow us to support each other instantaneously. In the Fire God Palace, there are countless fire demons. These fire demons are similar to any ferocious beasts with a mighty strength. As a place for God, some existences are one level lower than him. Every side hall has 2 Dan Realm fire demons. Oh. 2 Dan Realms. If there are only 2 Dan Realms, why couldn't those powerful forces enter till now? Asked Wang Xian with his eyebrow raised. Apart from the Dan Realm fire demons, there are many, close to 80 inborn fire demons around. These fire demons could be comparable to Dan Realm experts already. Besides, it is extremely difficult to exterminate the fire demons in the palace. Hence, 2 inborn experts are required to suppress 1 fire demon. After all, this is the Fire God Palace. Fire demons in here will have a huge boost to their strength, the young man explained to Wang Xian. Has anyone taken any treasures from the Fire God Palace before? Asked Wang Xian, with his curiosity piqued. Yes, this is a palace of the Fire God with many treasures in it. Someone even obtained spiritual flame ball, fire spiritual grass, and even heavenly flame before. As a result, this place attracted 8 supreme class forces from Asia within a day. The young man continued, later, we will have to depend on our own strength for the treasures. Of course, we can divide out those that are easily obtained. I have a map here that states the distribution of those fire demons. Follow us. Sure. Wang Xian nodded, took the aqua star, and stood in his position. The rest of them also remained at their specific positions with that girl in the middle. Wang Xian injected the energy of the water dragon. At once, the aqua stars connected together. He could sense the ability to mobilize the compelling energies from the other 5 people. What an amazing aqua star. It can allow an inborn expert to explode with half-step to Dan Realm strength. Wang Xian pondered to himself. Let's go, and keep in the hexagon position, or else it will be ineffective. The young man beckoned to Wang Xian, and the group moved forward. These people are quite good. Wang Xian remained in the last position, where he did not have to deal with first-hand dangers. Be careful. It's the pool of lava ahead. There could be fire demons sprouting out from there. They continued forward where it got spacious at about 50 meters ahead. A space of about a 1-kilometer radius, which was 20 meters tall at the ceiling, emerged. Below that spot was rumbling lava that was bubbling with terrifying heat. Some rocks lined up as steps in the middle. Wang Xian noticed a fire demon bubbling out from the left of the lava pool. Its body was made up of lava rocks with a pair of pitch-black eyes, exuding a daunting temperature. Beside the fire demon was a fiery red lotus flower. That's the fire demon. This pool of lava should be the spiritual medicine garden with fire-attributed spiritual grass growing in it. That fiery red lotus flower is known as the flaming lotus, a level 5 spiritual grass. As she drew back the bow, the water formed an arrow and shot out directly. It seems like I don't have to do a thing. Wang Xian looked across before looking down. At this moment, Wang Xian saw 5 roughly 3-meter-long fire demons emerging from the pool of lava and glowering at the 6 of them. Rumble. Each of them carried a huge lava stone and they threw them towards the sky. When the 2-meter lava stones fell on them, the defense of the hexastar trembled. Shit! Those fire demons have the strength of half-step to Dan realm experts. The young man turned even gloomier after seeing the 3 huge fire demons in the pool of lava. There's something in the heads of the fire demons. Those must be treasures. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and saw a fiery red crystal in the head of the fire demon after it had been smashed into pieces. You guys are too weak. Just stand aside and leave this to me. Seeing their attacks, Wang Xian chuckled nonchalantly as he charged towards the sea of fire demons. Don't break away from the area of the hexastar. When the young man saw Wang Xian attacking the area below them, his face instantly sank. The other 4 were also exceptionally bitter. Once Wang Xian left, their strength would also be weakened substantially. However, Wang Xian didn't pay any attention to them. Although the 5 inborn experts could be considered immensely incredible among all martial artists, they were still weak in his eyes. He swung his arm and ropes formed from water streams wrapped towards the fire demons. Pa pa pa. As the water rope went around their necks, one could hear the sounds of water sizzling. Wang Xian pulled the rope in an explosive move. The heads of the fire demons were ripped apart instantly and flew towards Wang Xian. What? The other 5 were astonished to witness what had just happened. The eyes of the girl in the middle flickered as she stared at Wang Xian in disbelief. He's so strong to kill those fire demons in a single strike. Bam! 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 Wang Xian cracked open the skulls of these fire demons casually. Soon, several fiery red fire crystals fell into his hands. Fire crystal, level 10. Inborn level material. I can use them to forge weapons or aid in cultivation. Wang Xian squinted his eyes. Each fire crystal was the size of a fist and was emitting heat. SSS. The 5 of them looked at Wang Xian in shock and gasped. This is a fire crystal, the essence of the fire demon. It is also the core of the fire demon. Fire crystals possess spirituality and can turn into fire demons. Seeing Wang Xian observing the fire crystals, the young man explained this to Wang Xian while feeling complicated. These are really useful. Wang Xian nodded his head and looked to the pool of lava below him. We did not expect your strength to be so strong. You probably could rank among the top half-step to Dan realm experts. Now that the flaming wind has subsided, let's get over quickly. The young man took a deep breath and said. Wait for me at the opposite shore. I want to take a look under the pool of lava. Wang Xian looked at the pool of lava and jumped into it directly. Brother, it's exceptionally dangerous in the pool of lava. Even an inborn expert would suffer if he entered it. Bam! Just before he could complete his words, Wang Xian was already completely submerged in the pool of lava. This infuriated the young man a little. He is really strong but too reckless. The girl in the middle frowned as she looked at the spot where Wang Xian had dived into. His strength has completely exceeded our expectations. However, he likes to act tough and believes he is really strong. I wonder if it will turn out to be a good or bad thing to call him along, the young man remarked as he stared bitterly at the pool of lava. Haze. A sigh came from the girl. Chapter 473, I'll take care of you all. Bro, do you think he has reached Dan realm based on the strength that he displayed just now? Asked the girl in the middle to the young man as she stared blankly at the lava pool. How could it be? Even though he can kill 5 powerful fire demons in a single strike, I still don't believe he possesses the strength of Dan realm. The young man shook his head. He must have some compelling treasure with him. I guess so. The girl nodded slowly, and knit her eyebrows. She took an ice crystal from her pocket and placed it in her mouth. Another relapse? The young man rushed to her side with concern. I'm fine. The girl shook her head. Don't worry, sister. We'll find the holy water, said the young man with a firm tone. As her eyelashes arched upward, the girl revealed a beautiful smile. Let's hope that the young man can come out soon. Sure enough, it's the fire god's graveyard. There are so many treasures here. Wang Xian entered the pool of lava and was elated by what he saw. The lava pool was a few hundred meters deep with sticky magma all over. Even an inborn expert could get melted in the hot lava. At this time, Wang Xian gave off a fiery glow, filling up his body with inferno dragon energy. Entering this place was no different from entering the ocean. Fire demons all were crouching at the bottom, with hundreds of them densely packed together. They surrounded the central location with a huge lotus flower. The lotus was 2 meters in size, giving off a fiery red glow even amid fire-hot lava. However, that lotus flower was different from flaming lotus. It had a huge stem. To be precise, it was a tree. Wang Xian was thrilled as he dashed to the bottom of the lava. Grow! The arrival of Wang Xian awakened all the fire demons around him. A few hundred dark fire demons' eyes were watching him. Since there are no Dan realm fire demons, there's no need to fear. Wang Xian drew his lips and braved forward. Grow! At that very moment, a few hundred of fire demons charged at him. Humph, go to hell. Wang Xian snorted as he brought up both hands. The entire space at the bottom of the lava seemed to be plunged into silence. Exterminate. With a soft groan, hundreds of fire demons shattered, with the fire crystals on their foreheads flying towards him. Given my current strength, I'm just a level away from being godlike. Besides, my strength is close to becoming a deity after transforming into a divine dragon. Wang Xian arched his lips as he came to the gigantic flaming lotus. Getting close to the lotus, Wang Xian noticed the heat given off was not that high. Fire God Lotus, level 12. It's not a flaming lotus, it's a weapon. Wang Xian was taken aback upon seeing the gigantic fire god lotus. The entire fire god lotus stem was 7 meters long while the flower had a size of 2 meters. He touched it and realized that it was a metal lotus. It's a weapon, a level 12 weapon. Wang Xian was a little shocked as he swung his arm and grabbed the fire god lotus. Buzz! Suddenly, a terrifying flame shrouded Wang Xian and the color of the flame switched from red to purple to black and eventually to a bloody red. The bloody red flame turned into a lotus flower which lurched at him. What? Wang Xian had a slight change in his expression as dragon scales surfaced on his body, giving off an immense flame. Roar! Suddenly, furious roars came from the fire god lotus. Wang Xian had a slight change in his expression. It was a spirit, and a powerful one. Wang Xian shook his arms, and they transformed into 2-meter-long terrifying dragon claws while he raked them across the fire god lotus. Buzz! The fire god lotus jerked once before it was finally calmed down. Wang Xian stared at the fire god lotus while he swung his arm again. The fire god lotus gradually shrunk into a 1.6-meter size. The fiery red lotus flower was the size of a human head with 12 petals on it. This is a staff? Wang Xian was shocked to see this as he sensed a surging and robust fire element coming from it. There were many elemental martial artists in Euramerica, also known as mages. These mages who specialized in remote attacks would have staffs as their weapons. A level 12 staff surpasses any inborn spiritual weapons. Wang Xian held the staff in his hand as he sensed the incredible power in it. His eyes glimmered with surprise. With the fire god lotus staff in his hand, he felt cool. Besides, the fire god lotus could alter its size, which was extremely amazing. Wang Xian looked around and noticed the space under the layers of lava was much larger than that above. The space over here should be connected with the other routes. Wang Xian squinted his eyes slightly as he peered into the distance. Fire god Hephaestus specializes in making fire demons and refining equipment. Does that mean that a type of weapon is hidden under each of the 9 routes? If that is the case, then... Wang Xian's eyes were fired up with passion. If there were 9 level 12 weapons, that would be insane. Let's check it out. With a thought, he looked to the left and swam out rapidly. Oh no, someone took the fire god's staff. At this time, an old man with striking red hair had a huge change in his expression as he growled in another side hall. What? Lord Armans, did you say someone took the fire god's staff? How is this possible? The people beside him were stunned as they exclaimed with disbelief. It's true. I left some fire to keep a tab, but little did I expect someone to take away the staff of fire god. That old man's face was somber. But the staff is spiritual. No one can take it if they are too weak. Could it be some other compelling experts from other sects who were here? The group of experts from Fire God denomination asked with gloomy faces. I'm not sure. Let's act fast. We need to pass through the side hall and get inside. Otherwise, it will be complicated. On the other hand, send someone to investigate this. The fire god's staff is mighty. If someone got it, we will be able to find out. I hope it's not anyone from the other denominations, the group from Fire God denomination remarked with darkened expressions. Nope. There's nothing. It's just this weapon. What a disappointment. Wang Xian made one round without any discovery of other weapons under the lava pool. Feeling let down, he shook his head. Then he jumped out of the lava. Bam! Wang Xian leaped out from the lava before the 5 people. As soon as they saw Wang Xian with a staff in his hand, they were astounded. You guys will lead the way. With me around, there's nothing to be afraid of. Wang Xian commented jokingly as he was in high spirits. The 5 of them took a deep look at him and the staff before they nodded. Bro, it's better to be careful. This is Fire God Palace, the graveyard of a god. The young man took a deep breath solemnly as he reminded Wang Xian again. No problem. Don't be such a chicken. I'll take care of you all. Wang Xian grinned at them. Chapter 474, Treasure. Treasure. When the 5 of them heard Wang Xian, they almost choked. However, they didn't say a thing. This water attribute martial artist that they had found at the last minute was surprisingly much stronger than they had expected. You got the staff from below the pool of lava? The girl in the middle blinked her eyes and asked. Yeah. Just a small staff. Wang Xian smiled and turned it in his hands. The staff looked extremely exquisite and the fiery red lotus on it was as vivid as it could be. It was entirely red and one could tell that it's extraordinary with a single look. Let's go. Wang Xian said to the group. The group nodded their heads and followed. There are 3 paths right ahead of us. 2 of them won't lead to the side hall. Instead, you will find the demon-rearing caves at the end of the path. There are over 1,000 fire demons there and death is almost certain if one carelessly enters it. As they walked ahead, a 3-forked road appeared before them. The young man explained this to Wang Xian. Fire god Hephaestus had a weird behavior. Based on records, he rarely interacted with people. Instead, he lived with the fire demons. The entire fire god palace is filled with fire demons. As long as we follow this path, we will be able to reach the side hall. There are 2 Dan realm level fire demons guarding the place. However, we will also likely encounter several dozens of fire demons on the way. We have to kill these fire demons first. Perhaps he had noticed that Wang Xian was much stronger than them. Therefore, the young man was explaining it in detail to Wang Xian. 2 Dan realm level fire demons. With the strength of your group, I don't think you guys would make it in. Wang Xian took a glance at the 5 of them and raised an eyebrow. We have 2 plans that are worth a try. However, the outcome isn't certain. The young man hesitated for a moment and chose not to hide any further. What plans do you guys have? Asked Wang Xian curiously. First, we can lead the fire demons away so my sister can get in. Second. The second plan is to use my blood. While the young man was explaining, the girl in the middle interrupted. Huh? Wang Xian looked at the girl in shock. I have the fire seed from the fire god in me. Therefore, if we can use our blood, Dan realm fire demons which are smarter might be able to sense it, the girl said to Wang Xian. Fire seed from the fire god? Wang Xian was taken aback and showed a shocked expression. The so-called fire seed could also be interpreted as a bloodline. In other words, she was a descendant of a fire god. However, a fire seed was also entirely different from a bloodline. Fire seeds were implanted by experts to ensure that their descendants could become powerful fire attribute cultivators. The seed could trigger the cultivation talents of their descendants. The fire seed of the fire god was also the powerful affinity to fire. This doesn't make sense. You are a water attribute cultivator. Wang Xian stared at the girl and frowned slightly. This is because I'm also the descendant of a water god. I've triggered the fire seed and water seed in me at the same time, the girl explained plainly, and a flash of helplessness ran through her eyes. This. Incredible. Wang Xian was a little speechless. The descendant of a fire god and water god. Although this didn't mean that she was born after a water god mated with a fire god, it was still within the last 5 generations. In other words, the ancestors of the girl had a fire god and a water god within the last 5 generations. It wasn't certain that a fire seed or a water seed could be triggered. This depended on talents, body constitution and luck. Moreover, they would disappear within 5 generations. This girl has triggered the fire seed and the water seed subsequently. That's extremely rare, but water and fire can't coexist. A water god should be able to erase the fire seed in you. Wang Xian looked at the girl. Among our past ancestors, there was only a single water god and she passed away, the young man said with a heavy expression. Based on what you guys have said, if there are Dan realm fire demons in the side hall, there should also be stronger fire demons in the main hall. After you guys get in, what are you guys going to do? Chapter 475, Unexpected Battle. 2 Dan realm fire demons. Wang Xian curled his lips slightly as he swept his gaze across all the treasures in the hall. Let's enter, said Wang Xian straightaway. We have a defensive weapon that can temporarily resist the fire demons. As long as we stall them for a while, my sister and I can go inside. With some luck, we could. Let me test the strength of those fire demons. Before the young man could finish his words, Wang Xian leaped into the hall. The 5 of them were appalled as they quickly shouted, Bro, the fire demons are extremely strong. They'll start to attack you frantically once you enter the side hall. Don't be rash. All of you stay outside. Without turning his head, he replied in a soft voice. He was not being impulsive, but rather, he had no fear of those fire demons given his current strength. Roar! When Wang Xian stepped into the side hall, all the fire demons let out a roar. The two enormous fire demons which were lying in the center slowly got up. A horrifying heat wave rushed at him as the air turned red instantly. The entire space was covered in redness while some vague figures could be seen from the outside. Oh no, there's no chance for him to survive even if he's a Dan realm expert when he charged in recklessly. The young man had a dreadful look when he saw Wang Xian charge inside. The girl in the center sighed without many choices. Let's wait over here. Exterminate. Wang Xian scanned all the fire demons as soon as he entered the side hall. The fire god Lotus was shaking in his hand, exuding blazing fiery red lava. The lava condensed into a lotus shape that lurched at its surroundings. Beautiful yet explosive. Boom boom. In a second, a violent explosion took place in the side hall. The flame enveloped the entire area. Roar! Roar! Her! Suddenly, two enormous figures pounced onto Wang Xian. He raised his eyebrows and hurled the fire god Lotus in his hand at them. A tongue of flames darted at the two Dan realm fire demons. Growl! The two fire demons opened their mouths at the flame and swallowed it down into their stomachs. Wang Xian had a slight change in his expression as he slammed the fire god Lotus at their heads. Boom! All of a sudden, two gigantic fiery red hammers emerged from the two fire demons' hands. They wielded the 5-meter hammers at Wang Xian. Wang Xian swung his hand as the radiance of the fire god Lotus glowed to its maximum. A vast flaming lotus appeared in front of him to receive the blow from those gigantic fiery red hammers. Earth-raging flaming lotus. A hoarse and violent voice cut the air abruptly while the ground under Wang Xian cracked all of a sudden. Numerous huge flaming lotuses that were condensed from huge flames struck at him. Wang Xian was appalled. With a switch in his momentum, thick and heavy soil emerged. Suppressing earth. Immense earth dragon energy brought peace back to the earth again as an earth shield blocked the attack of the flaming lotus. Flaming sledgehammer. Another bellow was heard. Wang Xian craned his neck upward and saw two mega flaming sledgehammers coming down on him. Earth shield. He raised his arm. With a quaking of the earth, bouts of soil surrounded him as the immense earth dragon energy filled the air within a 5-meter range around Wang Xian. Boom! Booming sound was heard, and the earth shield before Wang Xian began to crack. Damn, are these the Dan realm fire demons? Wang Xian was aghast as he held the fire god Lotus and staggered back. With a stern-looking face, he stared at the two fire demons. The two fire demons glared at Wang Xian with pitch-black pupils and flames exploding from their sockets. Earth-raging flaming lotus and flaming sledgehammers, all these are battle techniques. Wang Xian's expression sank with a mixed look. Given his current level 8 strength of a divine dragon, the maximum level that he could take down was level 12 in his human form and level 13 in dragon form. However, it was only pertaining to ordinary realms. If he encountered equivalent level existences that shared similar prestige bloodlines as him, it would be good enough to defeat them, let alone beating the higher level ones. Just like when he met Phoenix, level 8 was the maximum that he could go against. Besides, with the stronger opponents he encountered, the levels he could take down would drop. The fire demons were this case as their combat power was far beyond his expectation. Two Dan realm fire demons were actually on par with him. That was to say, he could only take down maximum level 11 when confronting fire demons. In the face of fire demons, he was only able to take 3 levels higher than him, instead of the 4 when in human form. If there were more formidable fire demons in the side hall, does that mean that I can't defeat them even when I transform into a divine dragon? Battle techniques, battle techniques. Wang Xian murmured to himself. The divine dragons had no battle techniques. In fact, they did not require one, as a divine dragon was born to have first divine dragon transformation. As mighty as they were, all they needed was to practice 9 divine dragon transformations, and naturally, they would reach the pinnacle of their race. The time used to practice battle techniques was better used in enhancing cultivation. However, some other creatures might be different, as they had limited potential. Hence, they could only enhance their strength through various methods, including battle techniques. With powerful battle techniques, they could gain freaky superpowers. Powerful human relies on weapons to slay a dragon. If I have compelling battle techniques, I could easily exterminate these fire demons. Wang Xian squinted his eyes slightly as he swung his arm, tossing the fire god lotus aside. Even though I do not have battle techniques, I'm a divine dragon. Wang Xian's physique had a rapid change. An 8-meter-long divine dragon emerged as he suspended himself in the air, exuding a daunting vibe slowly. Roar! With a dragon bellow, the whole side hall quaked violently. Wang Xian slowly swung his tail left and right. Invincible aura loomed over the fire demons. Growl! As soon as the 2 fire demons felt the terrifying aura, they trembled and let out soft roars. Go to hell! Wang Xian made a swift move and appeared on top of the fire demons' heads instantly. Growl! The 2 fire demons raised their enormous flaming sledgehammers and struck him with terror. Boom! Wang Xian stretched out his dragon claws and raked at the hammers. Ka ka ka! The compelling force swept the hammers aside as the dragon claws continued their downward ripping motion. As soon as the heads of the fire demons were torn apart under the mighty force of the dragon claws, 2 fist-sized fire crystals appeared before Wang Xian's eyes. He revealed a smile and restored himself to his human form, grabbing the 2 fire crystals with his hand. After turning into a divine dragon, killing the 2 fire demons was a breeze. With a thought, he put on the pastel blue uniform again. As Wang Xian surveyed his surroundings, he could not hide the thrill on the face. Treasures, so many treasures. He finally struck a fortune this time. With an arm swing, he put the spiritual flame ball on the wall. Lava ball, level 11. This lava ball is similar to the spiritual flame balls, which I got previously. Wang Xian opened his mouth and brought out a dragon ball from it. The dragon ball immediately engulfed the lava ball. He looked around and chuckled. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.